faster right now, doesn't it? As they stand alone right now. No cornermen. They're just ready to make the ring walk for the biggest fight that boxing can.
Fans, keep it chin tucked. It's the one and only goes with the shadow in the front. Hope you're having a blessed night. Let me fix this real quick because I was having issues. I just got back. It's always having connection issues, man. And it has to do with StreamYard. StreamYard is incredibly frustrating, man. I don't even know why I stayed with them. It's always disconnected my audio. I wonder if anybody else has problems with this, man. Okay, microphone connected, speakers connected. Fifi, that's connected, right? Let me just make sure that's connected. Every time, bro. All right, we good. Unbelievable. Hope everyone is having a blessed night, man. The weather over by me is ridiculous, and my bad for I know I was supposed to go live earlier, man, and it's always something in my life. It's always something. Let me get the thumbnail up. I don't know how long I'm gonna go today, but it was sort of like a continuation of yesterday. But let me fix this and get this out of here. Put that out of here. Boom, boom, delete that, and upload this, and we should be good. Upload the overlay. Upload the main one, which is right. Where is it at? Where is it at? I know the one that I had. Is it this one? It's this one. Yeah, it is that one. Okay. Hope everyone's having a blessed day. Tycho, I saw your message earlier. I know you're not here right now, I don't think, but my bad, bro. Yeah, yo, you be the only one that be like messaging me like an hour or two before I go live. It's hilarious. It's hilarious, bro. Hey, the weather in whenever you hear this, if you got the May 2nd card, did you watch it or was it? Man, I wish I was there, to be honest with you. Even though it was lackluster, bro, I wish I would have been there just to experience that, because they ain't never gonna do that again. They're never gonna have another May 2nd card, and man, but of course, you know, I feel like at the end of the day, I'm always what's best for boxing, regardless. I know it comes off as like I'm hating certain fighters, but I'm not. I'm not hating certain fighters. I'm not doing that. The truth is, people pay to watch sports, especially combat sports, and I know a lot of people don't necessarily these days pay. I know a lot of people use the fire sticks and stuff like that, and it is what it is, but it's still time consuming, right? It's not just paying for something, it's still time consuming. You could be with family, you could be with other people doing things, and when you have a card like that, that's boring, like people are going to speak out against it. So it's nothing personal against the fighters. And I know people got to put safety first, which is why actually I wanted to talk about today. The first thing I always feel like people do is it's always extreme. It's always the extreme. If you criticize somebody's speed or something, they're going to be like, so what are you saying? He's slow as hell? Or what are you saying? And like yesterday, I said Devin Haney. I said Devin Haney was running. I wasn't the only one that said Devin Haney was running. A lot of people said Devin Haney was running. Antonio Tarver said Devin Haney was running, and he likes him. Tim Bradley said he was running, and it's not just a pick on Devin. He wasn't the only one that put up a terrible performance. So did Ryan. Right? It's kind of ironic that the two main guys that the card was surrounded by were the ones that did the worst. This is kind of ironic. And the one that people said was going to lose, which was Teofimo Lopez, is the one that actually did the best. It always goes to show you, like in boxing, anything can happen, and it's all about styles. It's all about styles make fights. Then I'm learning earlier today about Rolly. Rolly said that originally it was supposed to be Devin Haney. I'm hearing it's supposed to be, it was originally supposed to be Devin Haney, but he asked for like $11 million. That's insane. That's insane. And that's one of the things where I feel like I blame the Turk on too. Because who was it earlier? Who was it earlier I was watching? He made such a good point when it came to the Turk, bro. He made such a good he made such a good point. I think it was a fighter, but it's the truth when I actually think about it, right? When I think about it, there is a lot of negative that comes with that. There is. It's not all good because you have a guy that's funding the fight. I get it. So he pays the promotional fees. He pays the fighters' fees. And then who cares about if there's a profit? I mean, you look at the May 2nd card. That was kind of weird. This guy has to have an ulterior motive because it didn't make any sense. You put on something that you was never going to put on before, right? Which was the May 2nd card. This was in Times Square in front of everybody. Cars, horns honking, they paid all these permits. You had the fighters didn't even walk down to the ring. The fighters literally took a vehicle to the ring. So it was monumental in the way that I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. And I've seen some crazy entrances. So then you look at how he sets this up, and then you notice that he's not promoting it. He's not promoting it in any way, which was kind of weird. So then you ask yourself, like, what is the purpose of this guy doing that? And I know he's a boxing fan. Even if you do have infinite money, that doesn't make any sense to me. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why are you spending millions of dollars without getting nothing in return? And that's when I saw who was it talking about it. He made a lot of sense. He said, look, man, you have fighters that before the Turk came, and by the way, the Turk's been in boxing for a long period of time. He's just now making his presence known with all this. I saw when they interviewed Terrence Bud Crawford and they asked him, when was the first time you spoke to the Turk? He said the Turk reached out to him when he was fighting Amir Khan. That was years ago. I don't know how long ago. That was years ago. So he was always in boxing. It was just more of like funding it in a way. So I was like thinking about that. And let me see if I check here. Hold on. Let me check something real quick. When was he fighting Amir Khan? When did he fight Amir Khan? He fought him. Amir Khan. Horn. Benavidez. Khan. Amir Khan was back in. Was it that long ago? Hold on. It couldn't have been that long ago. What year was that? Where's BoxRec? Let me see BoxRec real quick. BoxRec. Terrence Bud Crawford. BoxRec. My bad. Give me a second. I got to gather myself together, man. I wasn't even going to do a live. It's going to be short today because I should have started hours ago. Okay, Amir Khan was back in 2019. So 2019, he was approached by the Turk. That was a long time ago. So even though he's been doing what he's been doing now, he was technically not doing what he's doing now, but he's basically had his hand in boxing for a while, especially if he asked to talk with Terrence Crawford years ago. And so I forgot who I was watching, but he said, think about it. And I'm starting to see this now. this is where I feel like we're at the point where all this overpaying the fighters is starting to come back on everybody. Because at first people were happy because you're like, okay, we're about to get a fight that we normally wouldn't get. Because what normally gets in the way of fights, right? It's usually the person has a different promoter, or they're on the other side of the so-called street, which I kind of believe that's all crap anyway, like, because that's what it's been proven now. And then you got a lot of times fighters, they want to fight each other, right? So then the Turk comes along. He says, all right, hey, how much does it take for you to get in the ring? So now he's throwing mad money at these guys. So now where a fighter normally would have been like, nah, I ain't gonna fight him, or whatever the reason may be, now they're like, especially the promoters, they're like, hell yeah, we gonna do that. Hell yeah. Because the promoter's like, I don't need to come out of my pocket, right? So he pays the promoter, he pays the fighters and everything. So at first we were getting good fights, and we still are getting good fights. And we started seeing things like fighters getting, I'm not going to say exposed. But we saw fighters, fight up to par. And we saw like some people had what some people were more of a hype or whatever. And I'm going to use the Piccoli Jared Anderson for an example. Jared Anderson had a big push over here in America, but it shouldn't have been a surprise because the man literally came out on TV and told y'all, he said, yo, I'm not really here to like gather belts. I'm not here to win any divisions. I'm literally here to just get money, right? So he told you straight up. And I'm not saying that you can't be good in boxing if that's your only motivation, but when a person gives you your motivation and things, that should kind of tell you, and so he just wants money. And he said he wanted to be here short term. So the Turk pays for it. Long story short, he pays for that. He loses, and he loses bad, right? The thing is that Jared Anderson put up a fight. He put up a good fight. And you saw, okay, he got his ass whooped, but he put up a fight. What's going on, Tycho? But then I'm starting to notice something now. The fighters that were losing, who's the dude that looks in fights like Errol Spence, bro? I forgot his name, bro. Who's the guy that looks in fights like, he lost to Shiraz? What's his name? Austin? Oh, come on, man. Help me out here. Austin, man. The names, just always know the last name or the nicknames. It'd be, especially when I'm trying to keep on track. What was his name? Ammo. Thank you. Ammo Williams. Thank you, brother. Ammo Williams lost to Shiraz. He put up a great fight, didn't he? So when everybody was looking at it negatively, I'm looking at it like, nah, we're getting some good fights with the Turk, right? But I started realizing something the other day, and it was what this fighter said. I think he was from the UK. He made such a good point. He said, well, are you starting to notice that a lot of the guys that are under the Turk now, they're not putting their all into the fight? They're just showing up and getting a check. They know they're going to get it. And it started to make sense because it's starting to happen a lot more. So at first, it's like so think about it. It's like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. At first, we weren't getting hardly certain fights. And it's a shame when PBC was ending and PBC had the ending with the Showtime contract. Like to me, that was the best year we had. And I don't know how long. We had, but that year of boxing alone was good. It was good, man. And because I was so used to PBC giving us pay-per-views for like $70, and it was technically the main event was a fight that you would see on an undercard, and they were doing that a lot. I don't know why they were doing that, because they had a lot of talent there. So finally, when they get the notification like this is your last year in Showtime, then they give us a great year. They give us all these great fights. But going back to the Turk, we start like the point is this guy's paying these guys a lot of money, and people look at it, and I myself included, look at it sometimes like, yeah, but we're getting good fights. But now you're starting to see these guys are showing up and just collecting a check. They're just showing up. And this is why I feel like there should be a penalization in boxing. I really do. I really do. If you want to change this, because it hurts boxing, bro. It hurts boxing. If Tio was like ran like some of these guys, I would not support that. I wouldn't. I would be very vocal about it. I would say like no, because I want to watch a fight. I get it. People have different styles. But today's defensive boxer is a mockery. They are a mockery of the textbook traditional defensive fighter. Because that's what people are saying. People, when you try to criticize these guys, right? They go so extreme and they go, oh, well, what are you saying, Shadow? Like, are you supposed to sit there and do rock'em sock'em robots? No, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Why does everybody have to be so extreme? When Boots was getting hit too much and people say, damn, he's getting hit too much, right? We understand. We like it. It's exciting. But if you're a fan of him, you're like, man, he should tighten that up. He really should tighten that up, because if he fights somebody like Crawford, he might get clipped, right? People will take that so extreme and be like, what are you saying? Well, like it's a fight. They're gonna get hit, and they're so extreme. Like with Devin Haney, if you say they're running, they're gonna be like, they're gonna say they make it. You know what we're saying, bro. We want to see a fight. It's a fight. You only win by mounting an offense. Yeah, it's sad. Well, that's another thing too. Like, you got to ask yourself what this guy, you got to ask yourself, Tycho, like, what is this guy's motive? What is his motive? There, even if you have a large access of money, even if you're a boxing fan, right? Like the Turk, because I was thinking about this the other day. I'm like, I get it. There was that famous interview he did when somebody sat him down. And this is when he started like putting on, was this before the Crawford event? I think it was before the Crawford event. Regardless, they were asking him, why are you putting up this money? Like, because he's paying the promoters, he's paying the fighters, he's paying everything. And we know he's not getting a kickback. We know that. We know that he's not making a profit. So they're like, why are you doing it? He's like, well, I got some health issues. And I'm a boxing fan. And I want to see these fights. Like, almost saying, like, I want to see these fights before I pass away. It sounds great. It sounds like, it sounds heroic almost, in a sense. Like, wow, this man is putting on great fight. And I'm thinking about it. I'm like, hold on a second, bro. Like, you got to have a motive at the end of the day. Why would you put on a May 2nd card, right? Think about this. A May 2nd card in New York City. You look at the names on there: Rolly, Ryan, Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Ramirez. They had the Japanese kid there, the one that was the Japanese kid that was like starting his first fight, but he's got a name over in Japan. So you think about this and you're like, this guy's putting on all these fights, or he's putting on this big event in the middle of Times Square. He had to get permits. There's cars going by. They don't even walk to the ring. They're showing up in vehicles. I'm like, wow, this is dope. We should have more of that. I think that's great for boxing. Like, what's next? Alcatraz? Like, Virgil Ortiz said he'll fight at Alcatraz. But these are great. I think it's great for boxing. And then you realize the man's not promoting it. And you're like, why? Why wouldn't you want to promote it? And then it was like sectioned off to like certain fans and stuff. It was just kind of weird. And then I forgot who it was, but it was a fighter in the UK, and he made a lot of sense. He said, well, regardless of what his motive is, it's starting to backfire. It's all starting to backfire. Because at first, he was like the savior. Some people looked at him. I never looked at him as a savior, but some people look at it like, damn, because of him, we're getting, undisputed here. And yeah, well, I might not have asked for that fight, but that's a good, intriguing fight, right? Normally, we probably wouldn't get that because of money, financial. This guy might have asked for too much. This promoter doesn't get along with this promoter. But at the end of the day, when this guy's saying, yo, you don't got to pay nothing. He don't got to pay nothing. Your fighters don't got to pay nothing. I'm going to pay everything. Yeah, I'll even put you up. Like, you pay nothing. Just bring your fighter. Both promoters squashed their beef quick. Like, for real. I never really hated this guy. He's cool. Come here. Give me a hug. You know? So the guy was like, yeah, at first it looks good. And then you see a fighter lose. But I used the Piccoli and Jared Anderson for an example because Jared Anderson got blown out, but he fought back. He made a good account of himself. Ammo Williams lost to Shiraz badly, but the man was fighting back. So the guy was like, but now you're starting to notice these recent fights with the Turk. Now what are these guys doing? They're realizing it doesn't matter. All I got to do is show up and get a check. And it's the truth. Some of these fighters are not even, if you get paid the most money you've ever had in your life, you would think you would perform better, wouldn't you? I mean, wouldn't that make does that even make sense to you? I mean, a kid could understand that. You tell a kid, hey, clean your room, I'll give you $5. Or you tell them, clean your room, I'll give you $100. I guarantee you that room is spotless, bro. That kid be happy as hell. Oh, shit, I'm going to clean this, right? $5 might be like, I'm going to clean it. I need the $5. The motivation is money. The money should have you putting on your best performance. You got some of these dudes that are like, man, I'm going to just go in there and get a check. And that's crazy. That's crazy. You shouldn't fight scared or looking like you fighting scared, or even if that's your style, right? Your style. Because this whole, like, these guys are being defensive. You're getting on these guys because that's his style. What do you want him to do? Shadow, do rock 'em, sock 'em? Nah, bro. No. Stop it. Because I'm not stupid, and you're talking to me in an extreme manner. And I know for a fact that these defensive fighters today are making a mockery of the defensive fighters that we know as a traditional textbook defensive fighter. I mean, there's a long list. I mean, look, you got James Toney, even today, Caleb Plant. I just put a different, I didn't want to just put black fighters on there because people are going to make it a racial thing. It's got nothing to do with racial thing, bro. All right. There's a lot of defensive fighters from each race. So this has nothing to do with that. It's just defensive, right? You Caleb Plant, James Toney, Pernell Whitaker, Floyd Mayweather, and there's different types of defenses, right? Winky Wright, even Roberto Duran. Everybody's got their own different. Roy Jones had good defense. Roy Jones had great defense. He was like a cat. He was like a cat. So those guys had great defense, but they also had offense. James Toney was hard to hit. He had the best shoulder roll, in my opinion. I think even better than Floyd. I would think James Toney shoulder roll was hard to penetrate. But the man had offense. Roy Jones had great defense. He was like a cat, literally. Cat reflexes. But he was knocking people out. Even Money May. Take a look at Money May. Not Pretty Boy Floyd. Pretty Boy Floyd was really offensive. Not really that much defensive. He was more probably that's the Floyd people enjoy the most. He was very exciting. Then he turned to Money May, and people kind of like didn't like that because he became more defensive and more just like pot shots, you know? He never really had extraordinary power, but when he was Pretty Boy, like when he fought Arturo Gatti, he was like just an offensive machine, bro. He was just unloading on you. And when he turned Money Mayweather, he became more defensive, stay in the pocket, and did more of like the catch and shoot. But he's making you look stupid, and he's still mounting an offense. The traditional defensive fighter that I know, these guys make a mockery. Some of these guys are like, you're getting on him, Shadow, when that's his style. And then they always want to do the extreme, bro. What do you say? You want Devin Haney to do rock 'em, sock 'em? No, you know what I mean, bro. You know what I mean. What I mean is mountain offense. It's a fight, man. It's a fight. If you bring traditional defensive fighters that we know of in the past, like Winky Wright, and these guys mounted an offense, bro. They didn't just stand there and block shots and just duck things and move. They know I gotta win this fight. And I think that, look, man, if you don't got punching power, fine. But let me ask you as a boxing fan, whether you like me or whether you don't like me, bro, if you're fighting in boxing, do you think that you should attempt to hurt your opponent? Yes or no? I'm not talking like, let me out jab him, let me touch him a little bit and win. I'm asking you a question. As a boxing fan, do you think your objective should be to hurt your opponent? I think that should be your objective. If you are not a power puncher and you are a let's just call it a slick fighter, right? A slick textbook fighter. And you know, I'm probably not going to get the knockout. Don't you think you can still attempt to get a TKO? You could still, like, it's the motivation. You got these guys the Turk is paying these guys more than any check they've ever gotten. And I use the same scenario. I'm being dead ass when I say kids could understand this. Kids could understand this. Like I said, you tell a kid, I'll give you $5 to clean your room. Or you tell a kid, I'll give you $100 to clean your room. I guarantee you give him $100, the room's going to be spotless, bro. He's going to be happy cleaning that room. So some of these guys are getting all this money they've never seen before, and yet they go in there and just collect a check. They're not even attempting. They're just like, man, I'm going to go in there. Or they're fighting scared. Like that, I feel like that's a mockery to our sport. I really do. Like if Teofimo Lopez did that, I'd flame him all week, bro. I don't care. I'm not. It got nothing to do whether I like the fighter or not. I think it's bad for boxing. And when I look at the defensive fighters of the past, I think it's a mockery to them. Because that's not you're 80%. You're not like 20% of you, 15% of you is actually fighting. And you know, when you go to score a round, you only win a round off offense. I feel like there should be some changes in boxing. I really do. And I do have some ways that I feel like you could force a fighter to fight. You can force a fighter to fight. Now I'm gonna tell you like this, hey Carlos. I'm gonna tell you like this. Now I'm gonna tell you like this. You know how you do this? You know how you fix this? I feel like from now on, in the contract, especially if you know both fighters are movers, right? Put in the contract. I feel like excessive, like for instance, William Skull against Canelo. Am I bugging, or did the referee tell this man to fight? Am I bugging, or did I hear that? I could have swore I heard the ref say to William Skull, "Yo, fight." Like a ref shouldn't tell you that. A ref shouldn't be. He did, right, Tycho? He did, right? A ref shouldn't be telling you that. That's not the ref's job. The ref's job isn't to make sure you guys are engaging. The ref's job is to make sure nobody's headbutting, nobody's excessive rabbit punching, nobody's low blows. He has to monitor a cut to see if the doctor steps in. If the floor is slippery, making sure somebody's mouthpiece is in or not, right? Make sure like when a person gets dropped, the opponent goes to the neutral corner. He's got a lot of other jobs. He's got like a multi-talented job, like task under his job. The last thing that man should be worrying about is telling you to engage in a fight. The man collected a check. The man literally came in there and collected a check. And Canelo's at fault too, though. I'm not, I was disagreeing with HOD yesterday because HOD was like, well, well, why chase the man? Why chase a man that doesn't want to fight? And, to that extent, I kind of disagree a little bit because it's like, they're both getting paid a lot. They're both getting paid a lot. It's not just William Skull. Canelo's getting paid a lot of money. Yeah, he's running. You can only control yourself, Canelo, but you should make an attempt to cut that ring off. You should make an attempt. And, you just try to do it. And if the man keeps running, the fans will know. The fans will know at the end of the day, man, Canelo was really trying to cut that ring off and get him out of there. But this guy just ran all night. But if you just, I saw Canelo getting frustrated. He grabbed him and tried to hit him over the head when they were like holding each other. And that's frustration because Canelo's not known for low blows or fighting dirty. Come on, when was the last time I heard someone say, man, Canelo was fighting real dirty? Nah, he usually ain't like that. He usually just like, he'll fight you. It's usually how Canelo is. He'll fight you. He welcomes an actual offensive fight. And now I know why he had avoided some of the movers, but people look at it like, oh, well, he's avoiding them because he doesn't want to lose. No, actually, he doesn't want to chase them. Nobody wants to chase nobody when you fighting, bro. And of course, people will take that to an extreme and they'll say, oh, yeah, you just want him to stand there. No, you know what I mean. I don't know if you guys saw this, but let me show this to you. Let me show this to you. Man, and the May 2nd card itself messed up. I streamed it. I had a fun time streaming it, but that wasn't fun either. And the Skull fight wasn't fun. In a way, he saved the weekend. He saved the weekend. In a way, saved the weekend. By far. He was and that guy's special. That little guy's special, bro. And I spoke on this yesterday, but I like Japanese fighters. In fact, I want to visit Japan. I really do. I really want to go on vacation in Japan. Their culture fascinates me. The Japanese people fascinate me. But Japanese fighters fight with honor, bro. Them dudes, they want, like, they're looking, it's crazy, right? It's like almost like a samurai. It's like, if I lose, kill me. It's like they want that, bro. It's like that's like honor for them and shit. It's like he moving up in these weight classes. He's been demolishing dudes with his power, straight up running right through them, just taking over division after division after division after division. And now you see that the higher he's going, his power is not having the same like oomph to it, right? He's not running through dudes now. He's still powerful. You could hear them shots, but it's taking longer for him to beat these guys, right? And now he's starting to get dropped. So not only is his power not like he's not taking these guys out with 1-2 shots, right? Because these guys are bigger, he's moving up in weight. But now in a way starting to get dropped, and he likes that. He wants that. He wants to challenge himself. He wants to see how far he can go. These guys fight with honor and stuff like that. And I wish everybody did. It's kind of crazy that some of these guys are getting their biggest paydays with the Turk. And it's like they're just showing up. They're just showing up. Even the fighters that we look at that's so-called defensive, we've seen them do a lot better than that. And I honestly do. I do feel like today's defensive fighters is a mockery of the textbook traditional defensive fighter. I really do. I know defensive fighters that were exciting. They were exciting to me. Yes, a defensive fighter can be exciting, of course. Well, everybody has this notion like a defensive fighter isn't exciting. That's a narrative that's been portrayed because of what you see today. That's why people think that. Oh, another defensive fighter. Another defensive fighter. But you look, Roy Jones was defensive. Was he exciting? He was knocking people out. James Toney was defensive. He was exciting. Winky Wright had a high guard. What we called it, it was like an impenetrable high guard he had. That high guard, that it was hard for people to get around. He would throw that jab over that, and he had a high work rate, right? Roberto Duran was very defensively sound. One of the best in the world. A lot of defensive fighters of the textbook traditional fighters I know that are defensive were exciting. The ones today, I don't know what that is. That's running. That's running. That's being afraid. I just want what's good for boxing, bro. If you don't believe me when I say if T.O. would have fought like that, I'd say to T.O. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Let T.O. do that. Let him go to a fight one day where he's just doing this all day, where literally he's not throwing no offense. Even the fight where he fought Claggett, check this out. The fight where T.O. fought Claggett, T.O. was moving around a lot, right? The guy was come forward, whatever. Didn't he break a record for the most punches thrown for him? He broke a record for himself. So this man was backing up the whole fight and yet threw more punches than he ever did when he was going forward. What does that tell you? He's testing himself. He's pushing himself. I've always liked T.O. so much for what's in the ring. Even when he lost to Kambosos, bro, you could hate T.O. all you want. I know a lot of people don't like T.O. This is the truth. Even when this man lost and was damn near dying, he almost beat Kambosos, bro. He dropped him in like the 10th round and almost finished him. People tried to get on T.O. for going backwards when he fought Claggett, right? Because he's not, T.O.'s usually going forward. But look at the difference. The first time the man is going like this the whole fight, he throws his highest output ever. Explain that. Because he pushes himself. I know people think that I'm picking on certain fighters. I'm not. I love defensive fighters. The traditional defensive fighters that I'm used to. They were good at defense, but they knew they needed to mount an offense to win the fight. Some of them were even knocking other guys out. Not every defensive fighter is a light puncher, bro. That's another narrative. That's another narrative. All defensive fighters are pillow-fisted. No, that's something portrayed by today's standards. It just so happens today, a lot of these guys are trying to be like Floyd. They're trying to be like Floyd. And you can't. You can't. Everybody wants to be like Floyd, but you can't, brother. You could take some of that and be like, all right, I'll throw that in there or whatever. But a lot of these guys literally try to be this man stylistically. You could see it in the way they fight, bro. You could see it in the way they fight. But they can't do what he did, so therefore they come off very boring. But the defensive fighters I know of, look, man, y'all know who my favorite fighter of all time is? Who is it? Who is it? Y'all already know. If you've been watching me, who's my favorite fighter of all time? If I was ever going to be a fanboy for somebody, who would it be? Do y'all know? You should know, bro. Y'all should know. It should be like this. I'm just waiting to see if somebody actually knows it. Yo, if y'all don't know who my favorite fighter of all time is, bro, I'm gonna be upset with some of y'all, bro. Nah, stop it, Tycho. Tycho, you better not, bro. I'm about to erase that shit, bro. You lucky I ain't put you in timeout, bro. Stop playing with me, bro. It's Tito Trinidad, bro. Tito Trinidad. I wouldn't be watching boxing if it wasn't for Tito Trinidad. Literally. I hated boxing. I thought it was boring. I thought it was stupid. Mind you, I'm a kid at the time. I think it is stupid. But my father, I wasn't rich, bro. I wasn't rich. I had a TV in my room, but it didn't have cable. The cable was in the living room. So on the weekends, my dad worked a lot, right? He was the main provider. So when this motherfucker takes the TV, bro, hey, you, what you gonna do? I can't tell my father, nah, Dad, I was watching. No, I gotta watch what he watches, right? It was always boxing or WWF at the time. I think it was WWF at the time, or was it still WWE? That was around was it the Attitude Era? Regardless, but it was mostly boxing, right? And I got forced into watching it, and I was just a kid. And then he started telling me, you know, he literally sat me down about Trinidad. It was crazy. He said, "Son, you see that man right there?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And in my mind, I'm like, "Who, that bony looking motherfucker?" And my father's like, "That's a dangerous man right there." And I'm like, "Dad, he don't even got muscles." He's like, "It ain't about his muscles. It's the way. Watch when he throws that left hook. He's gonna whip it." And I forgot who he was fighting. He's like, "Just sit here." And he got dropped in the second round. Like always, Tito got dropped. And when he got dropped, I've never seen him fight before. So I'm like, "Dad, he's gonna lose." My father's like, "No, he's not." He said, "No, he's not. He's been dropped before." And then he got up and he beat that dude bad, bro. And he beat that dude bad. I forgot who it was. The dude was undefeated too. And I was like, "Damn." And I started watching boxing. And going back to what I was saying, Winky Wright embarrassed Tito Trinidad. In my opinion, he had a high guard, hard to get through. Tito was trying to left hook through that. Tito, he always depended a lot on his left hook. He was a good body puncher too. He had a good straight right, but it was his left hook that was knocking people out. Tito, in his mind, was like, "I'm going to left hook through that. I'll get him." That was his game plan. The whole like, I'll get him, because it always worked for him before. It couldn't. He couldn't get through that high guard, and Winky had a high output, very defensive, but a high output, and he just outpointed Tito. But he beat him. He wasn't running. He wasn't being evasive the whole 12 rounds. Roy Jones had sat there sometimes with his hands down like this, moving around, being defensive, and then would jump out of nowhere like a cat and clip somebody and knock them right out. Defensive fighter. James Toney had one of the best Philly shells that I've ever seen. Had great offense. Bernard Hopkins had good defense. Roberto Duran probably, man, I mean, come on. Need I say less? Now, today, when we think of defensive fighters, the average fan is going to be like, it's another defensive fighter. And it's like they have a narrative like these guys. When you say defensive fighters, it means they got no power. It means they don't want to engage. It means, and that's not true. That's why it bothers me when these guys see me say something about Devin Haney being so evasive, and these guys come in my comments, or these guys say stuff like, "What are you saying, bro? Like, you don't know shit about boxing. It's hit and not get hit. Well, you want to stand there and do rock'em sock'em?" I'm looking at them like, you sound stupid, bro. You really do. I'm glad HOD's here. Shout out to HOD. Like, this is what was said. Like, we were bugging because this is what was happening during the fight when we were watching it. This is what was happening I mean, it's literally the only thing that kept me watching this fight, bro. Because I found it funny. Listen to what these guys are saying. And by the way, Jim Lampley is a very nice guy, bro. Very nice guy. He does not just go at people and start ripping people apart. Listen to what these guys are saying.
A whole 30 seconds in front of the man ain't thrown nothing. He's so worried about not getting hit. I think Devin still. A whole 30 seconds in front of the man ain't thrown nothing. He's so worried about not getting hit. I think Devin still think Ryan in there.
Are we still watching the hangover from the Garcia nightmare a year ago?
I don't know what we're watching right now.
Still having nightmares from, the rocket left hooks that
put him on the canvas, counting the number of seconds it takes for a punch to be thrown. Maybe they're perfectly happy to let Haney do his footwork exhibition all night long and not throw punches. Maybe getting to the point of the fight now where he might need a baseball bat. We could buy him a bat or a tennis racket. If ever a fight was capable of inducing a snooze, this might be it.
I know nobody better not jump on the top rope.
That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing, bro, to our sport. It ain't because I don't like Devin Haney. I wanted Devin Haney to win. And when people sit here and try to make it look like this is what defensive fighters do, that's not true. That's not true at all. I think it's harder for a person to be defensive and land punches more than it is to just come forward and throw punches. I think it's harder to be defensive. When you look at it, right? If you're able to evade somebody's punches and you're able to come back and hit them, that's harder than you just standing there and just mano a mano, right? Yeah, I'm gonna just see how tough you are. But the thing is that the main point is you gotta throw something. You gotta throw something, bro. You can't just like do that all night. And what makes it worse, bro? I feel like we do have power as fans, bro. This will never happen. This will never happen. But I feel like if we all spoke out against shit, instead of like people not wanting to say something about a certain fighter, I don't know. Like maybe I grew up differently, but it's like I've always been like, man, listen, when you keep it real, it is what it like. I want my friend to tell me, bro, I fucked up, or like, don't do that, or this is what's wrong with you, or whatever, right? See, some people take that and they go, man, look, what, man? Like, you're not my friend. What are you hating on me? No, I'm trying to be your friend, right? Or you just don't say nothing. You just let them do whatever, and you just like, oh, I got your back no matter what. Like, to me, that's not even like being real. It's really not. Being real is being real with somebody, right? I feel like it helps somebody out. Do you know how many times my friends have been real with me, bro? You know, my friends that were in here during the other stream 2 weeks ago, his name is you might see them. Is DJ Edit, DJ EQ. I grew up with them in Patterson, around the Patterson area. They found me. I don't know how they found my channel, right? Because I've stayed away from certain people in my life that it's for my own reasons, right? But they know me. DJ EQ was at my father's funeral. My father loved DJ EQ, right? You know how many times them dudes was real with me, bro? You know how many times them dudes was like, yo, you drinking too much, bro? This is a while back. Like, and it opened my eyes. They didn't just be like, come on, man, you all right? You all right? No, they told me, bro, what are you doing? That's keeping it real. Like, so let's say you know a fighter. Okay. You know a fighter. You should be the first one. You should be the first one saying something to him. Especially if you got rapport with him and you know him personally, and you feel like, damn, bro, that wasn't a good, like, I know you could do way better than that. You like, unless there's no injury or nothing, you should be the first one saying something to him. Or if he's not taking it seriously, or if he's overlooking somebody or whatever. But no, they're the ones that never say nothing. They never say nothing. And if you say something, they go at you. That is fake as hell to me, bro. It's so fake, bro. It really turns me off as far as like just being a boxing fan, because if you're doing that to him, like, what do you do to people in your family and everything? You just let shit rock, bro. Is that what you do? I don't do that. So when I'm getting on Devin, and I know there's people that talk to him, whatever, they won't say nothing. You know what they tell him? Champ, you. Yeah, you did what you're supposed to do, champ. Yeah, champ. Oh yeah, you the best in the world. Oh yeah, you the. And I'm looking at them like, deep down inside you don't believe that. So why aren't you telling him that? And it's kind of sad because I would like to think that he sees what people are saying other than the people that are, meat riding him. But it's even worse if he's just taking all that in and he's like, yeah, I am that guy. Just lying to him, bro. So when he gets in the ring next time and he doesn't work on that and his ass gets clipped and he gets hurt, I feel like some of you guys are partially responsible, because just like the Wilder thing, you want to know how I feel like some people were responsible for Wilder's thing? They literally put it in this man's mind that he got cheated, bro. They literally put it in this man's mind. They couldn't accept the fact that he lost, and they started telling him that his friend poisoned him, and he fired his friend. The man lost his job. The man lost his job because the people, his fans, or the people that know him, literally couldn't take the fact that their king got his ass whooped. And instead of telling him, yo, go back to the drawing board and do what you got to do and get that rematch and run it back, they lied to him. They told him, yo, bro, he poisoned you, man. He did, yeah, look, he did this, he did that. And then what happens? It's like he was never the same again. And they still feel like they won't be honest with him. That's what I mean when I say be honest. Trust me, bro. I know. I don't have to step in the ring to know that it's very dangerous and it's hard, bro. I know that. But I also know as a boxing fan that a lot of these guys are getting paid a lot of money. And when you get paid the most money you've ever gotten paid, you should perform at your highest, not your lowest. That doesn't make any sense to me. What would make sense to me is if you had a fight and you're like, man, this guy's paying me peanuts. You know what? All right, fine. You know what? I need the money, but fine. That I could understand. I could understand that. And I could understand, like, bro, hey, man, they ain't really pay you. But still, you still shouldn't do that. But I could understand it a little bit more than you getting paid like millions. And you just show up and just like, man, I'm going to just get this out the way and collect my check. And because that's what some of these guys did. Listen, you could blame Canelo a little bit for the skull thing, but let me ask you a question. You're fighting Canelo Alvarez. I know your style is a Cuban slippery style. We all know that, right? You're fighting him for undisputed, right? Are you telling me that's the best you can do? You ran from him, bro. Most of the fight, you ran from him to the point where they were making fun of him too. The announcer, just like I just showed you with Devin Haney, how they were making fun of him and saying things like that. They did the same thing with the Canelo fight. After the fight was over, Canelo went to go hug Canelo. Look at what they said.
And School just touched Canelo more there than he did the entire fight.
Yes, he did.
And Canelo scolding him, saying, come on, man, that wasn't a fight.
I mean, come on, bro. You would think, right? It's for undisputed too. Does legacy mean anything anymore? Does it mean anything anymore? You see, when I bitch and complain, people really look at me like I'm bitching and complaining, but it's like, no, like this is why I always say I understand it's a new generation, but damn it, bro, I don't have to really accept it. I don't have to. You could tell me all you want. Yeah, that's how today's defensive fighters are. That's just how they are. Like, that's a narrative. They're all pillow-fisted. They all don't want to fight. No, because the defensive fighters I knew of would knock you out. They were offensive and very defensive. They were both. I see Roy Jones hardly get touched, knocking people out with cat-like reflexes, bro. Winky Wright had a high output with that high guard. Pernell Whitaker would fight you. But now they want you to think that the textbook defensive fighter today is this pillow-fisted dude that doesn't want to engage with you. No, bro, that's running, bro. I don't know who told you. That's running. Yeah, like HOD said, that's what they say to me. That's what they say to me. What's going on, D-Style? That's what they say to me. That's the sweet science. That's not the sweet science, bro. That's not. You guys are trying to be like Floyd so much, and you can't be Floyd, bro. You can't be Floyd. Floyd is a one of a kind. Floyd is a one of a kind, bro. You can't do it. There won't be another Floyd, bro. I disagree with old ass Larry Merchant. When he would get on him, when he turned in the money, yeah, he was more defensive, but he was still fighting you. Floyd was still fighting you, bro. Like, come on, man. He fought Cotto. I just saw that fight the other day. That was a good fight. Cotto did better. That was the most biased commentary I ever seen. That's something else, but he fought Cotto. You know, another thing too, I can tell when a fighter's actually trying, though. Shakur Stevenson. Remember when he fought Artem in New Jersey? Now, the fight prior, he fought De Los Santos. And I think at that time, and it's a damn shame we're breaking records this year, but we're not breaking the correct records. We're breaking the least punches thrown record. Back to back to back to back to back. I mean, damn. This ain't, it's supposed to be the opposite round. It's opposite way around. You know, like baseball, you know, somebody gets 60 home runs this year, you know, next year, 61, 62. Not like you broke a record this year for the least amount of home runs hitting. Like, it's just like, now we're breaking records going backwards, bro. So when Shakur Stevenson fought De Los Santos, right, at that time, it broke some sort of record for like, I know it broke. I know one thing it didn't break. It didn't break my sleep. It helped me get back on my sleep schedule. That's what he did do. But when he fought Artem leading up to that fight, he changed, right? He was like, yo, I'm going to change. I'm going to show y'all, right? Now, that is the fight where people walked out in Jersey. So where people walked out. Even though they walked out, I watched the fight again. And I can honestly say Shakur was actually trying. And I'm going to prove it to you how I know he was trying. You want to know how I know he was trying? Because who was his last fight just recently? That electrician, right? He was supposed to fight Kid Austin. Kid Austin goes to Saudi Arabia. Something happens to him. He ends up in the hospital. I don't know. I don't even know if I believe that or not, but it doesn't matter. 48 hours to go. You was there. You walked out, right? Well, I'm going to tell you something in a second in regards to that. So he fights the electrician, right? Now, when people said this guy was an electrician, I thought they were joking, bro. I thought they were joking. Like, you know, people say Walmart clerk, whatever. No. The dude was actually an electrician. Literally, like 9 to 5, Monday through Friday type shit, right? Okay. So they get this guy on a what? 24-hour notice, 48-hour notice? How many rounds did it take Shakur to get that man out of there? 6, 7, right? I know for a fact he was trying to get him out of there. Because put yourself in the mindset of a fighter. You are a 3-division champion. 126, 130, 135. A 3-division champion, bro. And you find out they got an electrician, 48-hour notice. You trying to get him out of there. The more rounds that man goes with you, it looks bad on you, bro. Can you imagine the electrician going 12 rounds with a 3-division champ? That's why I know he was trying. I guarantee I don't even gotta know Shakur. If he didn't do it, he's the stupidest fighter on planet Earth. No, he tries. Shakur just doesn't have power. Just doesn't have the power. When I go back and I look at the Artem fight where people were walking out, he was trying. He was trying. I think he just realized, later on, like, I don't know what round it was, but you could tell he was like, man, I'm not gonna get this guy out of here. I'm not gonna get this guy out of here. And I think at the last couple of rounds, he kind of just backed off. But the middle, the early, he was trying to engage, right? It just was not, it wasn't exciting enough. Now, you look at the Skull and Devin Haney. Come on, bro. This is why I say times have changed. I hate to say it, bro, but it has. And I do call out the content creators that know these fighters personally. And they can get mad at me all they want, but really, I really want what's good for boxing. I was going for Devin, bro. Go look. I was going for Devin. I wasn't shitting on Devin. I wanted Devin to knock Ramirez out. I wanted him to come back off a year layoff and like outbox this dude, like make him, hit him from all angles and shit and have them maybe stop the fight. That's literally, I know it's wishful thinking, but that's literally what I wanted for bro. I really did. So often I see these guys that know these fighters personally, and I feel like they're the ones that should be the first ones to let them know, like, yo, bro, because they'll probably listen to you more because they're going to look at everybody else like a hater. So I like in my mind, I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that guy's telling them like, come on, man, lock in, don't overlook this guy, or I know you could do better, right? No, they're the ones that deny everything, and you say something, they go at you, and it's like, yo, you just as worse. You just as worse, bro. Wilder's fans is what literally had this man thinking that he got poisoned, and he fired Mark Breland. People look at me like I'm crazy, but I don't think people see shit that I see, bro. Man, you never know. He wasn't doing bad, Hawker. He wasn't doing bad. He's still a 3-division champ, bro. Still a 3-division champ, Boxing Magic. And that's even more of the reason why you get him out. Because you know damn well, bro, the more an electrician goes with you and you're a 3-division champion, that shit really looks bad on you. But then I started noticing something else, which is like, so you notice that part of it, right? And then, like I said, for those that just joined, like this is common sense. Even kids understand this, bro. Like my nephews or would understand something like this. Like if you take a kid, you tell a kid, I'm going to give you $5 to clean your room, or I'm going to give you $100 to clean your room. Bro, you give him $100, this kid's going to make it look spotless. He's happy. He's going to work overtime. He's getting $100. Some of these guys are getting their biggest checks and they're just not doing shit. They're just going in there. They're breaking records the opposite way. It's just weird to me. It's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment. And it's an embarrassment to the textbook traditional defensive fighter too. I think Devin does have PTSD. I'm glad he made enough money. He's made enough money. He don't need to fight no more because, we were looking at this yesterday. Here's real talk for you. How about this? Who's Devin Haney going to fight next? Look at the rankings. Oh, and you do know another thing. I think I played this yesterday, but you do know that we know that in the past there's been some beef between the Russells and the Haneys, right? But I found it interesting what Antoine Russell said and Tim Bradley said in regards to the Devin fight. Because I'm trying to hammer home a point here, bro. The point is, I'm not picking on people. The point is that we shouldn't really accept this. There should be a penalization in boxing. Start hitting these guys' pockets, bro. You get a couple of warnings. I can't believe I heard the referee tell William Skull to throw a punch. Like, that's unacceptable. That's unacceptable. A ref doesn't have to tell you to throw a punch, bro. The ref got like mad different other things to worry about than telling you need to throw a punch. Tim Bradley, said Ryan and Haney stunk up the place, but he felt like Haney's was more of an embarrassment because, you know, Ryan got clipped by a punch. Rolly's a power puncher. Ramirez was tailor-made for Haney. Stylistically, he was tailor-made. That's why I had him out. Like, I had him like literally almost stopping this guy. I'm like, there's no way, because Ramirez has to actually set his feet to throw a punch, and Devin's going to take advantage of that. His jab, he's going to do the jab 1-2 or the jab 1-2 followed by the hook, and he's going to be landing that so much. Garcia is going to stop the fight. That's what I thought was going to happen. That's not what we got. Here's what Tim Bradley said, if you don't remember.
Haney put on the Ryan put on the as well, but Haney was supposed to be going back to the drawing board, getting better. Did you think he got better? Absolutely not.
Mosley to the team, all that stuff.
Just because you add a Hall of Famer to your team don't make it, it's gonna make you better. I promise you that. Devin, yesterday, I felt like he didn't want to fight either with Ryan Garcia. The way he was fighting, how scared he was. PTSD is a real thing in fighting, in boxing. It's a real thing. And I felt that's what I saw with Devin, watching him run around the ring. Man, I was like, damn, I was like, did this dude, did he train with Usain Bolt? Who the hell he trained with? I said, he running around this ring like he crazy. I'm like, yo, settle your feet down, bro, and grow some balls, man. Grow some balls and stand there and jab and make sure to back this guy up off of you. But nah, man, like, look, I take so much, bro. I was so angry after watching that, bro. I wasted my time watching that last night.
And then Antoine Russell.
Haney is broke now. Man, Devin Haney is trash. Devin Haney is broke now. Ryan Garcia done broke that boy. Ryan Garcia put him down, hurt him, and did all this beating on him. Now he don't even fight the same. He fought the Spanish guy, and he only threw 74 punches the whole fight, if that. Any hard shots he threw, it was probably a jab to the body. He only threw a couple of hooks, and his hooks wasn't hard. Were they clean? Okay, I give you that. But they wasn't even no effective punches. It wasn't like no shots that he fully committed to. It was scared shots. You can see in him that his heart ain't all the way there. Hopefully, it'll hold him over his next fight, because I don't know who the hell he got in front of him his next fight, but I just know him personally is trash. Washed up. I never thought he was good anyway. I just thought he was a good listener, and he tried to imitate Floyd to the best of his ability. But trash. Stop playing with me.
So, you know, I'll drop the link if some of y'all want to say something in regards to this, but really, I'm not picking on Devin. I'm not, bro. Not like I really wanted him to win. And Skull is another one. And yeah, and before I drop the link, I want to make it clear. Yes, blame falls on the other fighter too. It does. It does, because you're getting paid too, right? You're getting paid too. Yes, the guy's being evasive, but you should at least make an attempt. You should make an attempt to cut that man off. You know, don't just go, well, look, he don't want to fight me, and just stand there and get all mad or whatever. You should make an attempt as well. But who do you think the blame falls more on, though? It falls more on the guy who's not fighting. Like, they should be penalized financially for running. That's what they should do. And I wasn't the only one that actually thought of that. You know, there was I forgot. I gotta find a fighter. He's a former UK fighter, but you know, he was talking about the Turk, and he was talking about these guys, and a lot of it was making sense to me. Like, these guys need to start getting penalized, bro, because you hit their pockets, they'll stop running. Because if we say something, they're gonna say. They're going to say me, you, and everybody's a hater. And then the people that meat ride for them, that never say nothing to them, they're going to say the same thing. Don't listen to them. You the best, champ. And he's going to continue to do hit his pockets, though. Hit his pockets. Hit him with like $100,000 fine, $200,000 fine. After, I'm not just saying you just take it. No, there's a system. Ref warned you. You know, a ref should never have to tell somebody, hey, throw a punch. Never. It's not his job. It's not his job at all. You know, and you know what's another thing that was kind of like crazy with that, Tycho, is here's an example of why I feel like the people next to you should say something. So he puts on that performance, right? And then has the audacity to come back to the stadium and sit down and laugh at Ryan. Like, the people around you should have said something like, bro, let's just leave. Let's just leave. Like, that looks crazy. And Antonio Tarver said that. Antonio Tarver was like, Devin shouldn't say nothing after this fight. Nothing. His performance, and Antonio Tarver likes Devin a lot. He likes him a lot. He really does. Skull was fighting for undisputed. You know, I don't like Berlanga. But Berlanga tried to fight Canelo. He did. He did. I mean, I may not like Berlanga, but he did try to fight Canelo. Even after he got dropped, what he did. Berlanga got dropped, right? He got up. He tried to fight Canelo. I give it to him. I give it to him. I mean, but yeah, he lost every damn round and then started acting like he won the fight. That's a different story. Literally went to Puerto Rico acting like, you know, people are supposed to get a welcome home or whatever. It was just kind of crazy, but nonetheless, he did fight him. I don't have anything against defensive fighters. I love defensive fighters. The traditional defensive fighter, not the defensive fighter today. Because the defense, and that's another thing too. The fans are conditioned to thinking that a defensive fighter is Floyd Mayweather. That's not, no. That, and this is how you know Floyd has been so instrumental to boxing. The man literally changed boxing. Literally did. Got all these kids trying to act like him. I mean, literally, when people think of the shell, they think Floyd. Bro, that shell, he didn't make that up. It was around way before him. You should be penalized if you don't fight, bro, at the end of the day. I'm serious, bro. And it's a black eye to our sport too, especially when you see people from UFC laughing at us. They a couple of them channels were who was I watching again? They said that they brought up the May 2nd card. They brought up the May 2nd card. They were like, well, this is why we don't watch boxing, guys, and we got the best sport. Because we fight the best, and when we do fight the best, you know, we give you a good fight, and we give you your money's worth, and this and that. And these guys fought in May 2nd, and Ryan Garcia lost, and then they brought up Devin Haney. They're like, Devin Haney, I don't even know what he was doing. It's embarrassing to, and then I'm pretty sure the Canelo fight didn't make things better. William Skull says he was robbed, right? I'm pretty sure. And this is what I mean by delusional. Pretty much delusional. I'm pretty sure Devin Haney said, I'm going to show you why I'm levels above you, Jose Ramirez, right? Levels above you. I'm thinking we're going to get this Linares type performance, or even the one that fought Loma wasn't that bad, because he had a strategy. He was taking Loma's jab away. He was following it. That was nothing wrong with that, Devin. I know when Devin Haney fights, you're gonna get Devin Haney. You're not gonna get a Teofimo Lopez. You're not gonna get Tank, right? So expecting that type of performance, you're just letting yourself down. But I know that even the most lackluster version of Devin Haney was a little bit exciting. You got to take some chances, even if you use the excuse, well, look, he took chances and look what happened to him. Okay, so you gotta, this is fighting, bro. I'm sorry. Somebody needs to sit down and break it to you. This is fighting. So you have to do something. What are you going to do? Are you going to run like that every single fight for the rest of your career? Have you seen the standings, bro? Who are you going to fight next? Who you going to fight next? Like, you got nowhere to go. absolutely nowhere to go. Hold on. Where's the minus button over here? Is that it right there? Okay. So you stay at 140, right? You stay at 140. Richardson Hitchens, I don't want to see that fight, but Richardson Hitchens, I got him beating you. Gary Antoine Russell, the one that just made a video about you, I got him beating you. Puello, even though styles make fights, he beat Antoine Russell. He's a tricky fighter. I got him beating you. Teofimo Lopez, I dare you. So then we move up. You got welterweight. You got Jerron Boots Ennis. And then you got Barrios, who I think is your best bet, Brian Norman Jr. Because obviously if Devin's going to continue fighting, he's going to try to get a belt. I mean, that's always been his that's one thing I will admit. I will admit that, regardless of how he gets it, whether he gets it by, you know, after there was a big upset or the champion had a bad night at the office and then you get him real quick, regardless of whatever method, it doesn't matter. The method is he would try to get belts, right? Barrios is your best bet. And after what I saw, I don't think you beat Barrios. And that's a shame. That was at 144, was it not? Versus Jose Ramirez. Yeah, but I don't blame him. I don't blame him, HLD. I don't blame him. I don't blame him. I think you should be penalized. So Shakur is going to be fighting Cepeda coming up, right? Now, with Shakur, here goes the difference with that fight. Now, obviously, I could be wrong, but the way Cepeda fights, Cepeda has a high output. Let me make sure it's you, HLD, just to be safe. Cepeda has a high output. So, hold on. Yo.
¿Qué pasó?
What's going on, brother?
¿Qué pasó?
So what you got to say about all this, man?
Man, well, when I say that statement that he's done is because, like I said, I was going at it with Bill yesterday on Twitter or the day before. But he's his statement seems like he's begging Turkey for the rematch, and because he goes, man, because everybody's saying no, you know, we're done with this shit, and he says he puts out, oh, I got faith, you know, we have an agreement. I got faith that Turkey will honor it. So that means
so before, okay, so then that alludes to the what. Okay, so hold on, just two things here. So he's saying that, from what I'm understanding, is it sounds like before the Ramirez fight, Turkey had. Oh yeah, that's right, because remember when this whole thing started, Turkey was talking about the rematch. So I'm pretty sure Turkey was probably like, and I think he made a mistake here. They should have just went straight into the rematch, bro.
You know, I agree.
But I remember when they both started talking about this, right? Now looking back at it, they should have just went straight into the rematch. But the Turk was thinking like this, like, let's bring them
marinating.
All back. Yeah, let's marinate it. Let's bring them all back on a May 2nd card, right? Ryan's been out for a year. Devin's been out for a year. I'll give them both opponents that they should beat, right? And then so now that you're saying that, Bill is saying Turkey made me a promise, right? So let me ask you, if Turkey made you
here's his words. So it's not my words, it's his words.
Go ahead.
This is his tweet. Devin beat Ramirez. He gave him 36 full minutes to win, and he lost by unanimous decision. That's facts. Now we earn the right to beat up drug-free Ryan Garcia. I don't care what Oscar has to say. I got faith in Turkey. I got faith in Turkey. Only thing Oscar running these days is his mouth. He's got faith in Turkey. because Oscar knows that Turkey don't want this shit. You gotta understand what happened on that day, bro. And then with the buildup of the Canelo fight.
Well, yo, this is what I'm saying. Hold on, HOD. Wait. Just to add, that's my question, though. My question is this. Okay, so you knew before the Ramirez fight that y'all had this little agreement to get the Ryan rematch, right? So why on earth would you fight like you don't want to be in there?
Because kind of like what Rolly's been saying, these guys are fighting for their next check already. And since they already got this one secured, they don't want to fuck up the next one. And that's what Haney did. He ran for his bitch ass life so that he can make sure he can make it to the next level to collect the next check.
How long have you been here to this live?
I don't know what, give or take half hour.
Okay. Well, no, because one of the biggest points that I've made was like when Turkey first started putting on cards and stuff like that, you know, people were like, yo, this is great or whatever. And then I started noticing that now a lot of these fighters are adapting to this, like, because like I said, it's common sense. Like you would think, like, if you're going to pay me $20 million to do something, I'm going to do that and some. I might do it 3 times for you. You know what I mean? But now these guys are adopting this method where they're like, shit, all I got to do is show up and get that check. And then Rolly, I saw when Rolly called Devin a track star and was like, because I think Devin had asked for like an outlandish amount of money to fight Rolly, and then Rolly said, yeah, he's doing the bare minimum. It's like he doesn't want to be in there, and that's the truth. And people get mad at that, and they want to bring up the defensive fighters. But come on, HOD, you know that there's been a lot of defensive fighters in the past that were very aggressive and knocked people out and still being defensive. People think defensive today, the average, not me, not you, but there's a lot of people, when you tell them defensive fighter, they automatically think, oh, pillow hands don't want to fight. No, bro, the defensive fighter I know was really good defensive and could knock you out.
On that card, I'm going to say Barboza, Devin Haney did not come to fight with their all. On that other card, I think Rolly did what as best as what he is, and Ryan Garcia on medication is subdued and was not going to be able to give his best. That they got to get him off his meds because that's not going to work.
I could tell you this right here. Barboza, yeah, I guess I kind of agree with that, but I also think that Tio had him confused. He had him second guessing. Tio was
but I'm saying go for broke. At least go for broke. Like I didn't like even in that 12th round. Like yo, you know you need. That's what I'm saying. Like my man, you talked a lot of shit. You got checked by Tio, in the face. Yo, where's that? I'm expecting, because I had high regards from the Mexicanos, bro, and he didn't do that. You know what I mean? And so I expected that from him. Ramirez, the man is shot. Ramirez is shot, and so Devin Haney needed to put him out of his misery, and he did it. You know what I mean? And so I don't blame Ramirez for it, because this is the Ramirez we've been seeing for the last 4 fights. You know, the guy is shot. His legs are gone. He's been through wars. He's done. Haney euthanized the dude. He didn't do it. He decided to run from an old man for whatever damn reason. And so that's what I got to say about that. You know,
Lomachenko is he's a defensive fighter that's offensive too. And there's just so many, and it's just like I just hate it how I hate it how people, you know, they're so extreme with it because they try to tell you that's the sweet science, and it's not.
Lateral movement is not running. You know, if it's a lateral, look, Tio's doing it. Tio's doing a lot of lateral movement and stop, pop, and then
look, I said with Tio, right? A lot of people, I saw them try to say, well, look, he was backing up the whole fight. But yeah, what did he do when he was going backwards? He literally threw an all-time high. So it's like, Like what? Like what? This the crazy thing is, people could talk a lot of shit about Tio, right? And I get it. You know how I am with the whole goofy shit. But in the ring, bro, when this dude is on point, there's not very many people that could beat him. And I think people just don't like that about him. I think they just don't like him. But they know that. I tell you what. If you drop Tio, let me ask you: if you drop Tio, you think Tio gonna go backwards the whole fight? Hell no.
Or turn into Huggy Bear Haney.
Nah, hell no, he's not gonna do it. I don't think Boots will.
And I'm not saying, hey, there's a time and place for that.
I don't think
there's a time and place. There's a time and place for it. If you are wobbled, if you are hurt for, okay, yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do.
I'm talking about after you get up and it's been a couple of rounds. You know what I mean?
No, but I think this is the perfect time that Turkey just splits from these two guys. I don't want to see no damn rematch. I'm done with this saga. Let's move on. I think boxing needs a better storyline.
So even with what happened, you still don't. Okay, well, because Styles make fights. And the first
that would running Haney.
I was about to get to that, but Styles make fights. The first fight was exciting. But yeah, you know what? That see, it just proves my point.
Not exciting. It was entertaining.
It just proves my point right there. Yeah, no, your point. It proves it just. Why would people want to watch it now after they just saw what he did? And Rolly's trying to say, no, he did that because he didn't want to get clipped and he wanted to make sure he gets the Ryan fight. But that doesn't make sense because it's like, bro, you realize when people see that, they're gonna think you're gonna do that all the time. So that's a dumb ass strategy. And besides,
that was a hustler mentality, bro. That was hustler. That's that hustling mentality of his daddy, bro.
I mean, now you might not even get the fight.
I hope we don't. I don't want to see it. I really don't. I want to see real fights.
How about what do you think about when I said that I feel like, because what's really pissing me off is a lot of these guys are getting their biggest paydays and they're just showing up and just like hardly doing anything. I feel like they should be financially penalized, bro. And I'm not talking about after the fight. I'm talking about we implement some sort of program where the ref kind of warns you a couple of times, because the ref should never be the one telling Skull throw a punch.
I don't. It's not a bunch of guys. We gotta contain it to what happened this weekend. I don't think this is something that happens every weekend. You know what I mean? And it doesn't happen on every. This is an anomaly. It just happened to happen all at once and one weekend or at 2 nights. And because on the other Saudi cards, we don't see that shit. Guys coming to fight.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I don't remember the last 2 years of boxing where like 3 records were broken for least amount of punches. Like that's rare for me as a boxing fan.
Well. I mean, it's. I'm not shocked. It's Haney. It was Shakur, and in the Ryan Garcia fight, it's not like they didn't want to fight. There was a fight going on, but there was no running around. But there was a lack of urgency, and that urgency out of Ryan Garcia is due to his medications. I know that for a fact. He can't be on that. You cannot civilize a fighter. I'm sorry. You cannot civilize a fighter. Fighters are supposed to be wild and crazy. That's the way it is. It's always been that way. You don't go to the Coliseum in Rome and no, man. These guys come. It's blood. You coming for blood. Yeah. They're supposed to be crazy. It's not normal. You're a soldier, Shadow. You know how it is. You can't be.
Yeah, but look, here goes the thing, though. Like, okay, even though, yeah, it is a couple of guys, but I feel like it doesn't matter what time period we're in, because there will always be, since the Floyd era, because a lot of these guys, and I like what you had told me about what Showbiz had said, because I do agree with that, by the way, and I hope we keep going in that direction, where a little bit like 5-10 years ago, right? Everybody wanted to be like Floyd, right? And everything. Now we're starting to grow out of that, and now these prospects like Brian Norman Jr., Abdullah Mason, Kid Austin. These guys are pushing themselves. It's like I'm glad we're getting out of that phase.
Yeah, it's a phase. It's a phase, man. And right now, Tio's the only one breaking out of that. Like right now, we're seeing you guys are the pretenders, bro. All you guys, the Haneys, the Ryans, the Tank, all you guys are pretenders. And only one motherfucker from that is really separating himself from that. And he's not no bitch. You know what I mean? He's the real deal. And I don't even have to mention his name because you know who I'm saying. So that means these guys are going to get buried. They're going to get washed away. And this new generation is going to clean it up, bro. And we're done with that Floyd bullshit.
Hey, you know, man, in regards to T.O., it's so funny, bro. Every time I see them do this, bro, is why, you know, when I think maybe I'm petty. I think I am petty, but I look at it like this. It's like I fucks with T.O. You know I criticize him, but I fucks with him. And I feel like if I have a channel and I'm a content creator, no matter how big, how small, when I see these dudes literally say things like, oh, you know, he running from Barboza for 2 years and then he beats him, and then they turn around. Now they start downplaying Barboza, right? Like he was never. Then why were y'all saying what y'all was saying? Like,
because they're hating, bro. They're just hating on
right?
T.O.
That shit gets me frustrated, and it's like, but it is what it is. It's tribal and shit. And I know some of it has to do with what T.O. says, but still, at the end of the day, like in the ring, when the dude is 100%, and it's mostly mental with T.O. But there's some adjustments still with T.O. I'd like to see him make. You know, I want to see him more assertive as far as like, I feel like T.O. gets to a point where he's like, okay, I figured this guy out. I'm good. And then he starts showboating, where I feel like if you just turn it up another notch, you might get, you might drop him or even get him out of there. But that's just me with high expectations.
On this card, he gave them that opening act performance. That's what you're gonna get out of me. I would have been the main event. I would have closed the show.
Hey, look, I was just about to say, look, check this out. So what do you think about this? So I noticed, speaking of the opener, right? Like I said, I like these Japanese fighters, man. Like I really want to go to Japan. I've been fascinated with the Japanese culture, but these Japanese dudes, bro, they fight with honor. And I remember the press conference of this prospect dude for the May 2nd, and they were calling him the next Inoue or whatever. I mean, I think they're labeling him too. But anyway, the point of the matter is there's a huge difference between these guys and the American prospects that we see. The American prospects, because it's financially better for them. They want to build the name, of course. And what they do, they give these guys 10 straight, I hate to say it, below level construction worker fighters. They're not leveling them up. And of course they're going to get stopped, and they do it and they do it and they do it. And then by the time these guys actually fight somebody, right, they've never got dropped. They've never got hurt. They've never got rocked, right? And they don't know what to do when they're in a good 50-50 fight. They lose, right? But then you got this the Japanese people, bro, like this dude that just fought for the first time. This dude was like, bro, you're not going to give me a scrub. Like, you're going to give me somebody that could potentially hurt me or knock me out. And they found that I don't know what the kid's name was, but that kid had heart. And him at the press conference, he was even like the translator. He was like, look, man, I don't care what they're calling you. I don't care what they're calling you, Inoue, monster, whatever. I don't care. You're not going to make a name out of me, bro. And then he's telling the translator, he's like, translate that. And then she wouldn't do it. You saw that? He's like, no, they went to ask him a question. He's like, no, I'm not gonna answer nothing. Translate that. Tell him that. And she says it. He's like, did you tell him word for? She's like, yeah. I'm like, right. And then he did it again. He's like, you know, they asked the dude, like, so what are you gonna do? And he's like, yeah, I just want to put on my best performance and this and that. He's like, well, I'm coming to take his head off. Like, I'm trying to hurt him. Translate that. He was like, but that I like that though, because the Japanese dude was basically saying like, yo, you're not just going to give me a nobody. If y'all going to call me, y'all got high expectations for me, right? I want to prove myself. And this is why I got so much respect for Inoue, because this man is starting to get dropped now, right? And he's moving up in weight. His punches are still hard, but he's not just blowing past these guys. He's getting dropped now. And
he's getting dropped more for defensive inefficiency flaws, right?
Yeah. But the thing is though, he even said when they asked him when he got dropped by Neri, right? He was like, yo, I like it. He's like, this is what I want. Like, not saying he wants to lose, but he's like, I want to put on a show.
He wants brawls. He likes this shit.
Right. He likes the shit. He's like, yo, I want to fight. I have honor. I want to put on a sting for the fans. But I wish more fighters thought like that. I wish they did.
Yeah, I mean the but that's because that's your mentality. Your mentality is that you want to hurt the other person, and if you don't have that.
I'm sorry. Well, no. Look, let me ask you this, because now that you're here, because I know what some people are going to say in regards to these defensive fighters. Let me ask you. I think I know your answer, but let me preface this with, let's say you are a defensive fighter. Today's defensive, not textbook, the one I'm talking about. Let's say you are today's. So by today's standards, some people think that the defensive fighter doesn't have a lot of power. All that is a narrative, by the way. But let's just say today's defensive fighter, not a lot of power, moves around a lot. Let me ask you, do you think you should still be attempting to hurt your opponent?
It's the hurt business.
It's common sense, right? Isn't it common sense?
It's
almost like I would expect somebody to be like, what kind of stupid question is that?
No, I mean,
well, it's like, well, it's not a stupid question. You got some of these dudes out here that are doing what they're doing, and you got these other dudes like, yo, that's a master class, bro. That's art. That's not art, bro. That's
you don't know what you're talking, but you don't know what you're talking about, Shadow. Devin Haney outlanded Canelo, man.
Yeah. Some guys are crazy, bro.
Bro, they do that shit, bro. I'm on Twitter or whatever the fuck it is. They would dare repeat that stupidity. I'm like,
it's
really?
Crazy, man. Anytime I see someone, every time, bro, like, and this is why most of the time when I would get into an argument with some of these guys over these defensive fighters today, right? You know how the debate is going, because at first we start talking, and then I'm like, okay, well, this guy was a defensive fighter. This guy was a defensive fighter. This guy, and then it always turns into, after a couple of minutes, man, fuck you, suck my dick, man, I'll beat your ass, man. It's like they always go into that mode, and it's like, bro, anytime we having a debate and your only comeback is you gonna beat my ass, you gonna fuck my girl, or you gonna do this, I already know you lost, bro. You can't, you got no boxing knowledge, bro. You easy to body, you know what I mean? Because facts, at the end of the day, facts always bodies opinions. Tio, I brought this up yesterday. In my opinion, I feel like Tio, even at his worst, almost beat Kambosos. But you know what? He lost. There was in my opinion, the doctor came out. She put her medical license on the line. She's got a lot of high profile clients. She didn't need to do that. She came out and said, no, he shouldn't have been fighting, right? But he lost.
It's another thing that the DAZN did.
And people could say, oh, but he wasn't going to cancel because they pushed back with Triller 2 or 3 times. And I'm a Tio fan. I agree. But he lost. You see how facts, it doesn't matter how I feel. The facts are he lost. Facts bodies opinions and emotions every time. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead.
No, but did you notice what kind of off topic, but you notice how the DAZN now changed their tune with Tio?
Oh, yeah.
The former undisputed.
Yeah.
And that's at DAZN. You know what I mean? And so they changed because they know this. He's the one that's left.
Well, I'm sorry. I know you've been watching these other dudes, right? I don't know if you watch them or not, but I kind of watch some of these other streams. Well, first off, I watch everybody, even if I don't like them. I said this yesterday, like, I kind of find a way to enjoy everybody unless they're like blatantly racist or blatantly doing something like a cash grab or dick riding or whatever. But even the so-called meat riders, right? I watch them to kind of like get in their mind. And it's like, yo, these guys really don't like Tio, bro. These guys really don't like Tio. They
don't like him, bro.
They don't give him credit for shit in the ring. I mean, I'm not okay. I get it. All the other shit, all right. But what about in the ring? They don't give him credit for nothing. They call him a fraud. They said, man, he going around saying he was undisputed. He was never undisputed. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe not in the technical term, but let's look at this in a logical term. Let's look at this logically. What is the definition of undisputed, right? In boxing, right? You have 4 belts, right? And you have, let's just say, 4 champions, right? Or 3 champions. 1 champion's got 2 belts, right? The undisputed guy is the guy that gathers all the belts, correct? But how does a person get a belt? They fight for a belt. It's very, this is common sense, right? So if he beats, Richard Comey and then beats Loma, and now he's had all the belts, but yet Devin so-called has a belt left over, but yet where did that belt come from? That belt was relinquished by Loma, and technically he didn't really fight anybody for the belt. So it's like, yeah, you have a belt. It's like having a car with no license. Like, it doesn't mean nothing to me because you actually didn't earn the right to even drive the motherfucker. So that's how I look at it. That's how a lot of people look at, like, that's why they look at Tio as undisputed. But they it's just crazy to me. But I mean, I get it. Maybe he wasn't technically, but in my eyes,
it's not about technically. He was. Period. We got to use
I look at it.
He
I look
was.
at it like
Period.
he was. I look at it
There's
like
there's nothing about no technically. I mean, one day I'm going to show you the rules of unifications for each sanctioning body. You have to fight the preeminent champion of the other sanctioning body. And so each preeminent champion at that time was Teofimo Lopez and Lomachenko. So
but what about the people that say that Loma dropped his belt, right?
No, he didn't drop it either.
He got the franchise. He got the franchise.
No. The specific words, the specific word from Mauricio Suleiman was the very moment Lomachenko stepped on stage and was elevated to franchise champion. At that very same instant, there's no dropping. Devin Haney became the regular WBC champion. Simple as that. That's how his words were. It was not about no. He didn't drop it.
That's the same way Boots and that's the same way Boots became champion, and I believe that's the same way Tank finally became with the WBA.
Right.
They literally didn't fight. They just literally were at home, and it's like, bro,
they were
elevated, right? So that's where people have a problem with it, because in a most boxing fans' eyes, I mean, this may come down to preference, but me as a boxing fan, if there's a belt, you fight for it. You don't just hand out belts. If that's the case, give me the belt.
And so Devin Haney didn't fight for no damn belt. What the only thing Loma did was upgrade his belt that he had. That's all. It was an upgrade. That's it. He became super champion.
So, I mean, so that's why people look at Tio as undisputed. You know, I look at him, but then again, I'm always gonna be biased towards Tio. I am.
It's not about bias. It's about the rules. Forget about bias. Forget about anything.
No, but I am though.
And no, but I'm just saying. Forget even about your opinion. Forget about my opinion. It's not about being biased. It's not about because I think or technically. Those are the rules per each 4 sanctioning bodies. Period. That's how it runs. So you have to unify. Like, do you think that Rody can now go unify with Norman Jr.?
Well, we were just looking at the rankings. Let me see.
No, he can't. Who's the preeminent champion of the WBA?
So the WBA 147. Yeah, the WBA. So we got IBF is Jaron Ennis, WBA Super Jaron Ennis, Rolando Romero is regular.
Right. So do you think that Rolly Romero can now go unify with WBO champion Norman Jr.?
No.
They won't allow it. Why? Because there's a preeminent champion on the WBA, and that name is Jaron Boots Ennis. See, now Haney could not unify when he had the WBC regular belt. Well, no, because he had all the other ones anyway.
So why? So this is what I don't understand. Don't you think an easy way to fix that would just be like, if somebody, let's say you have the belt, right? Let's say I'm under you, and HOD gets elevated to franchise or something like that. Wouldn't an easy way to fix that would be, look, you're next in line, Shadow, but the guy underneath you, y'all two will fight for that belt.
No, because the reason is that the when you become a super champion or franchise champion, there's perks to that. The perks are, well, with the franchise is that you don't have no mandatories. See, and with the WBO, you have 18 months to honor a mandatory. So like right now, Tio just fought Barboza. If he was to stay at 140, he don't have to fight another mandatory for another 18 months.
And yo, it's like, yeah, you know, he doesn't appear, but it's got, you know, ESPN and the Zone was calling him that. It's crazy. It's like, you know, it is what it is. Like I will say this, I will say this, like when HOD breaks it down like that, like then it makes sense. Like I said, I'm biased towards Teos. I looked at him as undisputed anyway because I'm like Devin didn't fight nobody, but it is what it is. But when he breaks it down like that, that's like legally, technically, he should have been undisputed. So why aren't they labeling him undisputed?
Well, he is. He's just not within the biased media. That's all. That's all it is. It's within the biased media. And Tio also has talked a lot of shit, but and the guy who started that bullshit was Dan Rafael, who was fired from ESPN at that time, and they replaced him with Coppinger. And so when they did that, he got his panties in a bunch, and he started talking shit against Top Rank, trying to call the franchise champion a Top Rank belt.
Yeah, Psycho's right here too. You remember this though? At first they were calling him undisputed, then they didn't, then they tried doing it again, then they didn't, then they didn't.
Well, because does it benefit? Like let's say like when Haney, the first time Haney became a champion was when he defeated Kambosos. So does it benefit the business now to call Devin Haney undisputed and all that shit? Yeah, it does, right? Because that sells.
Wait. So Rolando Romero, even though he's under Jerron Boots Ennis, obviously, even though what is that? What belt is that? That is the
WBA, the new janky belt,
the regular, right? The one we call the Reggie, right? Okay, right. So you still pay sanctioning fees on that, right?
Yeah, you do.
So then, technically, if you do, right, then it shouldn't. I'm asking you if you pay sanctioning fees, then technically it's an actual belt, right?
No, that's not what it is. You pay sanctioning fees if you're fighting within the sanctioning body's rankings.
No, I'm asking if you're paying a sanctioning fee to hold that belt, not for
that's
to compete in the rankings. That's
what I'm trying to teach you. Sanctioning fee is when you're fighting under a sanctioning body rankings. Now, after that, if you have a belt or you're fighting for a belt, you pay a belt fee.
I'm asking about the belt fee.
All right, now I'm separating that from sanctioning fee. Okay, so the belt fee is another 3%.
Does he pay a belt fee? Does he pay?
He pays an additional. The average is 3%. 3% or lower.
So then technically that's a real belt.
No, that doesn't mean that's a real belt.
But you're paying a belt fee.
Yeah, because they're gonna make their money.
Well, shit, if I'm gonna pay a belt fee, I'm gonna call it a belt.
Well, it's a Reggie belt. So the thing is that holding a belt makes you more money. Even Roddy put it out there, like, yeah, man, I'm gonna pay same because when I have a belt, by having the belt, it makes me I can make more money.
Yeah, that's know what? I don't understand that either, right? So you know how some fighters would use an excuse like, man, paying the sanctioning fees, that's why I'm dropping the belt. But it's like most fighters I know that have a belt use that as leverage to get a bigger payday.
Well, let me give you an example. Devin Haney. Devin Haney was making $1.5 million with DAZN before he got the email belt. Once he got elevated, he was making $3 million.
Right, he was using the belt as yeah.
No, because that was for his contract. The contract said, 1.5, but if you become a champion, right, you get a belt, your pay goes up. And that's how it was.
I never understood this either. Like out of all those guys, Ryan, Tank, Devin, I feel like Tio has pushed himself the most, but then gets paid the less.
That's because he had the wrong management with this motherfucker that McWater. McWater is a manager who's in bed with Top Rank, and he has a lot of fighters at Top Rank, and he'll fuck his own fighters up on the contracts just to keep that business going with Top Rank, because he's got a good deal. He got a good deal going with them. So Tio got fucked.
Yeah, I remember when we looked at Mick Waters and you showed me him. He had a lot of fighters under him, bro.
And they're all in bed with Top Rank. Yeah, so this motherfucker, even though he's good at his job, he's more biased. He's protecting more Top Rank because he's ill, man. I got 100 fighters. Man,
I looked at the fighters he had. I was like, damn. I thought like he was just Tio's man. Nah, bro. You gave me his name. I looked him up, bro. That dude had fighters like down the line.
Yeah, bro. They're all with Top Rank.
They're all paying him. money.
All of them
he
are
got dough. He got
bro.
dough.
All of them are paying money. So if Top Rank said, "Yo, man, make sure you give me a good deal with Teal, all right?" And then they'll go to Teal. Oh, this is a good deal. Blah blah blah. Blah, blah, blah. That's the best you can get, bro. He fucked you over, that motherfucker, bro.
Yeah.
You know,
the same thing happened. You know, the same thing similar happened to Trinidad. Tito Trinidad.
what's
he
his
was with
name?
Don King. He was with Don King, and then one of his personal handlers, the people that was looking over him, apparently was like 20 million, and he had to go to court and everything like that. It's messed up what these guys do to these fighters.
Yeah, he got his money got embezzled in Puerto Rico, but he got his money back. Now, what's going on with your boy Boots, bro? Duck Boots, I'm gonna start calling him.
Well,
he's quiet. He's quiet.
Hold on. You already know that's my guy, but you know if Tio fights him, I'm Tio. So you know that.
No. I'm just saying he's quiet, bro. Like everybody, look, Turkey's calling it out. Eddie's calling it out. Obviously, Tio's calling it out. And Mr. Boots is quiet than a motherfucker, bro. Like Tio is going to.
Hey, that's another thing too that makes me laugh, bro. Okay, so I don't know how people don't see this, right? So Tio beats Barboza, right? Okay, they said he was running from him or whatever. Fine, he beats him. Now they try to downplay it, right? Now he could simply just be like, let me try to sneak over to and get that Barrios belt. But no, he's trying to get Boots. It's like you see the difference between the mindset between him, Devin, and shit. Like I see that from a mile away, bro. It's like it's crazy to me. It's crazy. And people laugh at Tio. They laugh at him, but bro, this dude was like trying to challenge Crawford, Tank, and shit. And none of these guys bit, which is kind of crazy because these dudes will try to say, oh, he's fronting for the media. None of these guys bid on that, bro. None of them. And when Tank was doing his interview, remember the famous interview where the guy's like, Tank's like, I got a list. And the guy's like, well, tell me your list. He's like, I don't want to say anything. He's like, well, how about this? I say the name and then you tell me, yeah. And he went through all of them: Shakur, Loma, Ryan, Devin. And he said, yeah, to all of them. He said, Tio. He said, yeah. No, not Tio. And the guy's like, why? And he's like, he didn't even answer. He just, I'm like, why don't you want to fight Tio, bro? This is crazy. But the media and other channels will say that Tio is a clout chaser. Tio's this, Tio, but none of these guys bite on his shit. So call him out then. If he's calling out Boots, I know there's people out there that think like, oh, he ain't gonna fight Boots. He ain't gonna fight Crawford. Okay, then why don't none of these guys openly say, boom, we sent them an offer and see what happens?
Well, the fact is that before Boots fought Stanionis, Tio's offer was on the table, and per his instructions to Eddie Hearn, Boots, he wants to be focused on unification. I'm like, okay. I mean, but it was there, and it took a while before that fight got announced.
Yeah,
but even Eddie Hearn wanted, like, it's a great fight. He didn't want the Stanionis fight. Eddie Hearn wanted the Tio fight.
Wait a second, but speaking of that though, there is a fight that I think Tio might have turned down. Wasn't it the Matias fight?
Yeah, where was he going to fight Matias?
I'm asking. I think he did turn that down though.
Well, yeah, he turned it down because they wanted to make the fight in the West Coast on pay-per-view.
Oh yeah, that was the one where they were trying to tell him where to fight, and he said, "Nah, if you're gonna fight me, you're gonna fight me where." Yeah, okay, yeah.
No. What Tio said is, look, man, you guys want, because they wanted to give him $2.8 million to fight Matias on the West Coast on pay-per-view, and Tio's like, no, give me $3.5 million. Fuck the pay-per-view. Just give me because I don't need no back end on this. This ain't gonna sell. He knew there was already 3 other pay-per-views in that same lineup of weekends.
At least he's honest when he says he don't think it's gonna sell.
No, exactly. I don't care who you are. If you got 3 other pay-per-views back to back, who's gonna have money to be buying your shit? You know what I mean? I mean, not everybody's gonna be like me who's gonna go and I already bought tickets for the Crawford and Canelo just in case that they put you on the undercard with Boots. But now, how many people are gonna be able to do that? You know what I mean?
This is just a guess. This is a guess. You know, as a TO fan, I'm very critical, and I know he can be beat. You know, every fighter can be beat. I think why people are hesitant with him, I think it's two things. I think it's his athleticism and his heart. I feel like there's no way you could watch a Kambosos fight and find out the man was half dead. Every time I watch that fight, it gets closer, bro. I'm being dead ass. It gets closer every time I watch it. And he almost stopped the man, bro. He was half dead. So it's like I don't know. Maybe some people look at that and go, man, that's not the type of problems I want. I don't think people scared of him.
By the way, Teal made a little over $10 million versus Barboza. So tell me, turning down Matias wasn't a smart move?
Well, that's the next thing I was gonna get to is I don't think he ducks anybody. And even when the Crawford thing was going on, and I remember the first time he said he wanted Boots, right? These dudes were calling up the boxing voice, and of course you had the LDBC, you had all these dudes saying, there goes T.O. clout chasing. You know damn well he's not gonna fight Boots or Crawford or Tank, right? And I'm thinking in my head, like, yo, all this shit could be put to rest, bro. Just send him an offer. See what he does. I guarantee you he would have fought it. He would have took that shit.
Well, I mean, it all depends, because you got to see what Rolly said about Haney.
What Rolly say? Oh yeah, I was just reading about Rolly earlier today.
The Haney sent him a contract
for $11 million.
No, to fight Rolly back like a year ago or so.
For $11 million, right?
No, Haney's wanted $8 million. They were offering Rolly $100,000.
Let me see. Hold on, because I was just reading an article before I went live that said $11 million. Hold on.
No, why are you gonna let an argue? I'm telling you what came out of Rolly's mouth in that interview with Danza.
I mean, damn, you're not the official motherfucking word. I mean, you don't override everything, but I mean, you my guy. I'll take your word for it. Fine, $11 million. It's still outrageous though. It's still underpaying. It's still underpaying Rolly like a motherfucker, bro. And Rolly.
Well, yeah, that means they didn't want the fight. They just be bullshitting people, man.
Right.
That's all it is. It's just bullshitting. Bro, I hope the Haney's are
it's almost like the old oh shit, HOD wants to fight me. All right, HOD, I'll fight you for $50 million. And in the back of my head, I'm like, I know he gonna take that. And then I'll just I'll go to social media and be like, look, I offered him. It's on him now. You know, it's like it's on him now, and it's just an outrageous offer. But I don't think Devin did that. Look, one thing I know, me and you do disagree on Devin is this. Look, I may not agree with his methods, because I do feel like, man, a lot of things in his career, he did it I give him a credit for this a lot, bro. He did it at the right time. He's waiting. It's almost like two dudes are fighting, right? And you don't like one of them, but you don't want to, you're not gonna do nothing, right? But it's like back in the days, and two dudes are fighting, and then you wait for him to fight or whatever, and then you just sneak in there and hit him and shit. Like, I feel like he did that with Kambosos out of nowhere, beat T.O. with the upset, came in, scooped in. He knows, oh, I could beat him. Prograis, the moment he sees he looking like he faded a little bit because he had that bad performance prior. Boom,
right. And then they'll build it up. Oh my God.
Right.
Everybody was ducking Regis.
Right. Yeah. Then I'm noticing this, and I'm like, wait a second, bro. He's waiting for the right time to strike. Meanwhile, T.O. entering 140s like, bro, Taylor, where the fuck you at? It literally 4 fights before he got there. In Loma, he left the WBC tournament and went straight to Richard Comey, who at that time, a lot of people was like, yo, Comey, and he had to fight Nakatani to get to him, who at the time Nakatani was undefeated, the other Nakatani. It's so, but I'll give it, regardless of his methods, I still give it to him. He's always tried to fight for a belt at some point. And my thing is, if you're going to continue fighting, where are you gonna go? 140? Yeah, Antoine? Nope. I hate to say it. I don't like Richardson Hitches, but nope, ain't gonna work. T.O., come on now. Puello? No. Okay, so 147. Boots? No. Rolly? I think Rolly's all it takes is one shot from Rolly. One shot. So I don't know if you want to do that.
Well, no, because he can fight these guys. What's he gonna do? What he did with Ramirez? Who's gonna catch that guy? Nobody. You cannot catch a fighter.
That's what I was gonna say. That's what I'm gonna say. So if he does, he's gonna do that. And this is where it hurts boxing, because people are gonna turn that into master class performance, and it's such an insult and a mockery to boxing, bro.
Well, no, because the majority of the people are not gonna want to. Nobody's watching that shit, bro. Right now, Shakur's got one opportunity.
If Haney turned around and fought Boots, bro, you would watch it. Come on now. Don't act like you wouldn't watch it, bro.
What? Haney don't fighting no Boots.
If Haney, no, I'm saying, okay, let's say Haney came out and said, I know he won't. I'm just asking you. I'm saying, let's say he came out and said, next, I'm gonna fight Brian Norman Jr. Would you watch it? Of course, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be on ESPN for free.
Okay. Oh, well, even if it's pay-per-view and you can go to the bar.
I ain't paying for nothing with Devin Haney. That motherfucker.
I don't blame you for that. I'm asking if you don't watch it.
I'll watch it on free. Yeah.
Okay.
Free.
Okay.
But but me to pay?
Yo, but you make a good point though. Like, I don't think nobody's gonna want to fight him if he's doing that.
I want to give it a
understand Tank. I kind of understand Tank in a little bit.
I want to give it. We need to make it okay. More than okay. Oh, Haney, they're trying to make a fight with Tio and Haney. No, Tio, you could. It's okay, man. We don't want you to fight that dude. Duck that motherfucker. Tell him to go fuck himself. Shakur ran again against a pay that wants to fight. Like, no, man. Make your fighter say no. Fuck that dude. Skull, I don't care who he fights.
Yeah,
tell him no. We need to shun them. We need to boycott them. We need to let them know that our real fighters just say, man, go fuck yourself. We don't want that shit.
I do disagree with you on Canelo yesterday, because yesterday you was like, well, why should he? I'm like, well, damn, bro, Canelo making a lot of money too. He should make an effort to kind of like, but the most of the blame goes on the runner. I agree. Before I forget, before I forget, you know what's a good fight? Tio and Brian Norman Jr.
Well, Tio can walk right into that. You know, that's like a plan B. That's like plan C right now.
Yeah.
Because Tio could right now. Well, I mean, the kid is got to fight in Japan. Tio is lining up. He wants that Boots fight on the undercard of Canelo, which is the only reason I bought the tickets day before yesterday.
Right.
And if that happens, then okay. But if Boots ducks Tio.
Yeah, I'll say it. I don't think he'll duck Tio.
Well, he's quiet. He's a duck right now. Tio's all over the media.
Hold on, HOD. It's only been a week.
That's more than enough. But like, yeah, let's get this on.
And let's not forget that now I'm a little bit biased towards Boots too, but I'm Tio all the way. But I will say this: Boots isn't a talk shit type of fighter, bro.
No, you don't have to talk shit.
He's not like that, bro.
All right, son. You want this win? It's on. No, man, but you got. Hey, all it takes is Tio. It's on. Done. It's on. Done.
You gotta go through Eddie.
Bro, Eddie wants this fight. Eddie wanted this fight before standing.
Sure? I don't trust anything that come out of Eddie Hearn.
No. Eddie, look, Turkey wants it. Eddie wanted it before the Stanionis fight. Cause Eddie's eyes lights up when he sees Tio.
Yeah, you know, Oscar used to be like a little iffy with Tio, and now Eddie Hearn and Oscar, Eddie Hearn went out the way. He's like, I like Tio. I think he's a great fighter. And then Oscar was liking Tio too. I think how many contracts is he still on the top rank?
I think Turkey bought him out. I think Turkey finally bought Tio out.
So all his future fight. Well, at least we know he'll get paid. At least he'll make the money he's supposed to.
Put it this way: day before yesterday, or was it before the fight? His manager, Conley, and Tio and Turkey, they all met, and they already planned Tio's next 18 months.
With the way Turkey be having these fighters fight, that's like 3 fights.
So he at least two.
At least two.
I think he bought him out.
Didn't he buy out? Wait, did he buy out Richardson Hitchens too?
No, Hitchens is still under Eddie Hearn. Nobody wants Hitchens, bro.
Oh man, it would be a nightmare if Hitchens fought Haney. Oh my goodness, I would just plan.
That would be the fight for Haney.
No, you know what I would do? I have an ASMR list. You know what ASMR is? It helps me sleep. It's like with these sounds and stuff.
Yeah, right.
Right. I have a list under YouTube where I put certain videos on. I call it the ASMR list. Like I would literally put that fight on that list. And I'm trying to wind down and whatever shit. Just turn off the light. Just kind of get ready for bed. That shit would be a snooze.
In all seriousness,
oh my goodness, bro.
In all seriousness, and my comment may be because you want to say I'm biased or whatnot, but in all seriousness, with what we saw Devin Haney do, if that's who he is, he needs to retire.
Well, and that's why I've been saying, I'm not taking no stabs on people on purpose. At the end of the day, you could die in boxing, right? A lot of these guys know some of these fighters. And I notice like the ones that are close with the fighters are the ones that are never real with them. They're the ones that actually, and I get it. That's their boy. I get that part, bro. Trust me. I'm not saying I don't get it. I'm just saying I don't understand when it's like, I get it. If I'm your man, like I'm Tio all the way. Like that's the thing. I will never go against Tio. I am a diehard Teofimo Lopez fan. But when I disagree with some of the things he do, I'm gonna say it, bro. You know what I mean? And I'm doing it out of the because I think I think he could do better. So maybe it's because I was raised like that, and that's how I think. I expect these guys to do it, but it's like I expect the people that are closer to these fighters to tell these guys. Like if you're close to Devin, you should be like, "Yo, Devin, look, man. Yeah, I'm not saying you're scared, but." Where are we gonna go? We go 140, 147. They're all dangerous fights. Like, bro, you made enough money. Like, what are you planning to do? Because, bro, if first off, you don't want to hurt his name any more than it is. I'm gonna tell you right now, nobody's gonna end up wanting to fight him if he did what he did, bro. That shit was bad.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
So bad. Jim Lampley and the dudes were talking about him, bro.
That's right. That's right. What Bill Haney did right there, and then Oscar De La Hoya doesn't care for the rematch.
Yeah, I saw Oscar say that. Yeah,
he doesn't care for the rematch.
Oscar was like, "Bro, we're not giving that. If you're gonna do that, no."
So Eddie Hearn let go of basically just, bro. He was happy to let go of Devin Haney because he was losing money on him. So that's why he let him fight with Regis Prograis out of his promotional company. And so you have Oscar De La Hoya who doesn't want the fight. Eddie Hearn don't think much of it. Turkey's pissed off. So who's gonna pump up the fight?
I was gonna say who's gonna pay for that.
Well, right, it has to be Turkey. Nobody's gonna pay for that.
Yeah, it ain't gonna be Eddie Hearn. It ain't Bob Arum. They don't even talk.
It would have to be Turkey.
Yeah,
if he really wants to make the fight, and
you would have to somehow convince Turkey. But you know what? That's a slap in the face. Can you imagine going up to Turkey and saying, "Turk, hey man, look, can I talk to you real quick?" Yeah, what's with you? Look, man, I know you're mad at me. I know I ran, but you have to understand, I didn't want to lose. And I wanted the rematch, so I did just barely enough to win. Like. If I'm hearing that, I'm gonna be like, do you know how much money I gave you, bro? Do you know how much fucking money I gave you? Like, what am I? Like what I just pay you that money and that's what you give me, bro? Like, that's an insult. That's an insult. So there's nothing you could say to me, bro. If that's the case, why didn't you tell me that beforehand? And I'd have paid you minimum.
Turkey was so pissed on Saturday that he stomped into the ring and told everybody to get the fuck out, and that includes Skull. You're not interviewing that motherfucker. He didn't interview Skull.
That was bad too.
He stomped in there and said everybody out. He said, "Bro, that was out."
You know what's funny with Skull, bro? Like Skull. Like I feel bad, bro. Like in a way,
I don't, bro. Fuck it. We got $3 million, bro.
No. I'm using the wrong word. It's my personality. Have you ever people might not relate to this, okay? Have you ever seen somebody you don't know and something embarrassing happens and you feel embarrassed for them? Has that ever happened to you?
Oh yeah, I get you saying, bro.
It's
I'm not
you're
saying
embarrassed, but it didn't even happen to you, right?
right.
So
I know what you
I'm
mean.
watching this dude run, but what's making it worse is he's running and he's acting like he's winning. Like he really thinks in his head like he winning.
Bro, he was just conning us, bro. That's just like
No,
third world
HOD.
third world country conning.
He think no. He really thinks he was winning, bro. He really thinks he thinks he got robbed.
Nah,
I know it's shocking, right? It's shocking. I'm telling you, it's really that's embarrassing, bro. That's embarrassing because I know for a fact Devin know in his head. I don't care what Bill say, Bill or Devin. They know deep down inside that shit was embarrassing. They know Bill wouldn't do damage control. These guys, BTFB and all these guys wouldn't do damage control. These dudes putting out videos. He sent Ramirez to the hospital. Like that's damage control. You wouldn't have to do all that if you know that your performance was of par, right? So when you go on social media and you say things like what was Bill's statement again? That is such a damage control statement, bro. That is such a damage. That's like basically like he doesn't address the running. He doesn't address anything. He doesn't address anything negative. He doesn't address or even give a reason for why he fought like that or why it was a letdown to he doesn't address the fans. He basically says, we beat Jose Ramirez by unanimous decision. Therefore, right? And it's almost like I don't have to explain why we ran and didn't want to fight in a combat sport. It's like that's damage control, bro. Whereas Skull, on the other hand, I think the man really think he won, bro.
Nah,
that's
he's just saving face, bro. That's the bro. I understand mi cultura caribeña, bro. That's saving face. That's no different. That's no different than Haney. Than Bill Haney talking shit to save face, bro. That's what it is. It's just saving face. But bro,
you think it's just different because it's from a different culture?
No, man, it's just saving face. Look, why is Bill Haney talking stupid shit that you know is not true? He's saving face. That's what Scully was doing. Motherfucker, you got kicked out of the ring. They didn't even, bro. They make sure you don't even say a word post conference, bro. Get the fuck out the ring. Everybody leaves.
and you know, when I was watching Skull, right, I'm looking at him and I'm like, athletically, you look like you could do more,
bro. The dude is a fucking like an Afro-Cubano triathlon type of motherfucker, bro.
I'm looking at him and I'm like, this definitely is more of like either you're just really don't want to get clipped or whatever, because I'm looking at him, I'm like, healthy performance wise, this dude looks like he could do a lot of shit. Like he was quick, he was swift, but that's what pissed me off.
He barely won his belt, bro. In his last fight that he had, he barely trashed. My thing is, bro, is that these giant motherfuckers, bodybuilding huge motherfuckers, the Berlangas, the Munguias, the this dude, the Skull, bro. If they can't withstand, the Charlos, they can't play with Canelo's power. I can't wait till Canelo hits Crawford in the ribs, bro. Makes him shit his pants, bro.
Oh, so before we transition out of here, for the first off, like always, brother, thank you for joining me, man. You're a part of this channel. You know that. Let's talk about your man Crawford. You know, man, I actually like what's going on right now, bro. I love it. I love these dudes that really got it in their mind. Like, did you see how big Crawford looked? So what's the dude name? Respectfully, the two-tone motherfucker, bro. Hey, I go at the Boxing Voice hard. I don't give a fuck about subscribers, bro. I don't care, bro. I'll drop names. I went at BTFB yesterday. You saw what I did for his meat right now. So let me show you. Let me show you right here. It's just a little something, but like, it's like, you know, you just if you're gonna meat ride, bro, just do it the correct way. I got that little meme up there with the little girl that be looking up, girl.
That dude.
So look, like with the boxing voice, right? People don't understand why I went at Nestor Gibbs, right? I didn't even go at Nestor Gibbs because like I didn't like what he said. I actually agree with what he said. To be honest with you, I did. So like, because at the time, that's what me and you were at odds. It was over the whole, part of it had to do with the whole monkey thing, but it had nothing to do with that. It's not about like your opinion of T.O. I don't care what your opinion of T.O. is. It's the day that T.O. rolled up to the boxing voice, you was talking greasy and then had dropped it short. And then T.O. popped up and was like, yo, what's up? T.O. didn't even pop up on some crazy shit either. He just popped up like, hey, I was watching what's going on. And all I remember is Nestor Gibbs going, hey, we was just talking about you. In my mind, I'm like, oh shit. He's gonna, be honest with T.O., right? And he was like, hey, I was just telling everybody, man, like, I feel like you just doing this for that. And I really feel like you a nice guy. And I'm looking at him like, what?
Yeah.
No, that's not what you were saying, bro. That wasn't your energy. I don't like shit like that. So I said something. I made a video about it. And then these dudes that really be like, I've been on YouTube for so long, bro. Nobody's gonna do nothing, bro. Okay, I've seen people threaten wives. I've seen people dox people. I've seen people call people's jobs. I've seen the most craziest shit. All these dudes are still living. Nobody got stabbed. Nobody got shot. So you ain't gonna do shit. So it's just boxing. People want to take it personal. You can take it personal, but I'm gonna speak out on the shit I feel like is unrighteous, so biased. If you shitting on T.O. and and I feel like it's not just your opinion, you're just doing it to shit on him. I'm gonna say something. Yeah, expect me to say something. It is what it is.
Everybody's right now like boots on his team. Like the Greg Hackett's and Coach Bredman's, bro. They're all like trying to talk Boots out of wanting to fight T.O.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry. We'll get to that in a second. I forgot. I got off track. When Crawford got in the ring, you got these dudes like, yo, you see how big he is? Like they really translate the way Crawford is looking to what he's gonna do to Canelo. And it's like, are they not understanding that yeah, Canelo might have looked a little slower or whatever, but do you understand that this man moved up from 147 to 154 in his last fight, and it was lackluster with a guy that, yeah, I get it, styles make fights, but with a guy that only had 10 fights, and some people think he lost, and now he's gonna skip 160 and go straight to 168 and not fight a top 5 or warm up or nothing. He's not doing a one, and that's how I kind of know it's a payday, because Canelo was like, yo, man, I got dates I gotta keep, bro. Like so he knows in the back of his head he's gonna fight Crawford, right? And he's like, yeah, but I that's fine. Like, he's not even looking at him like that. He's like, yeah, I know, but I got 2 fights in between, bro. Like, I gotta stay busy. That's how Canelo thinks. Meanwhile, Crawford could have had a couple of fights in between then, but he's like, no. He even went on X a few times. He's like, nah, I'm good. I'm good till September. Like, he's just doesn't want anything to happen. Just focusing on that, focusing on the big bag. And I do feel like that's working in his advantage, though, because he don't got to worry about nothing else but Canelo. He don't got to worry about, he doesn't got to worry about no fight in between, nothing. He's got all the time in the world.
Because it's got to be all about mental technicalities to beat Canelo, because it ain't going to have nothing to do with physicality, because he can't do shit.
People be like, yeah, he's gonna, you see the people thinking he's gonna knock him out now. It's crazy, bro. Yo, you think ain't nobody knock out Canelo yet, bro? You just think Crawford gonna be the one jumping up to? Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know. He might possibly win, but this whole like stopping him, hurting him, bro, shit is yet to happen, bro. So it's like, I'm not saying it can't happen, but
it can't happen, bro.
I think he's fought some people that are a little bit more, a little bit more powerful.
Yeah, bro. I mean, we've seen Canelo eat Triple G's power, bro. I mean, literally eat it. I saw an interview on the way on this past week with Virgil Ortiz. Like, yeah, man, I sparred with Canelo, and in sparring, I hit him flush with a super hard shot, and all it did is just move his head that way a little bit, and then and Canelo saying, "Vamos, eso mismo, let's go." He left at it, bro.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, what's to be said, man?
Some people are physically, more technically advanced than others. Like when Shakur hurt his hand, like I'm still shocked by that video, by the way. When Shakur was like, I've watched that video like 150 times, bro. And I'm like, where did you hurt yourself, bro?
Well,
like that shit was literally like a tap. He was like in tremendous pain. That the only thing I could think of is it might have been pre-injured. It was pre-injured.
Yeah, it was pre-injured. He's been pre-injured.
Well, then that makes sense because if it's pre-injured and never healed properly, it's not going to take a lot.
He's doing a treatment called exomes. He put it on Twitter, and it's in some type of regenerative treatment, and he's going to be doing that. We'll see what it does for him. I think he said they did it for one of his hands already. So we'll see what happens with that, but he's only got one shot because there's another thing, bro. It's a business. People are gonna want to watch you, and if you suck and you stink, that I don't care how. What's important is for yourself. But if nobody cares to see you, what's the point?
So why? And please be straight up. I know T.O. is your guy like me, but please just be honest with this, bro. Okay, because I know how it is when it comes to T.O. You're gonna go so far with it. Why do you think these guys are on social media trying to tell Boots not to fight T.O.?
They see something that Boots has never faced before. Simple as that. And they have to want to pick up their guy. They just want to make him like he's so much of a monster.
No, well, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. You know I fucks with T.O., but Boots is huge. I know size doesn't always mean anything, but Boots is athletic as well. And you know what is the problem that I see with T.O. and Boots? I think it's a great fight, though, because the reason why I think it's a great fight is because people sleep on T.O. so much, bro, and repeatedly, I keep seeing, I don't know how many times this is, T.O. about to fight somebody. They're like, T.O. gonna lose, and then he just makes it look easy every one of those times. And when he does it, every single time he does
it was a trash fighter.
Yeah, he was a trash fighter.
Loma was trash.
Loma was already right? Barboza, I never said that. He wasn't running from him.
When Boots beats T.O., you know what they're gonna say?
Hold on, but here it is. T.O., I think, is dangerous for anybody, right? But Boots has a high punch output and is big, and he's athletic too. It's a good fight. That's all I'm saying. It is a
good fight, and there's no walk in the park.
There's no walk in the park at all.
You know, I'm not saying T.O.'s gonna, but the one thing I can say is T.O.'s ring IQ is more than Boots.
Ring IQ, yeah.
His ring IQ is more, and I think he's faster than him, and his footwork is better.
I think people really sleep on T.O.'s IQ. He's really.
Let's put it this way. And his experience.
When he wants to, he could be really offensive. When he wants to, be really, and they can't say nothing about that because when he starts, I hate the showboating, but when he starts getting in that groove where he's hard to hit. Did you hear what Antonio Tarver was saying when he was fighting? Oh my goodness, Antonio Tarver. I think it was the 8th. No, I got to go back. I'll clip it for you. Antonio Tarver was like, what was his name?
Jim Lampley.
Yeah, thank you. Jim Lampley was like, the more I see T.O., the more I don't understand how he lost to Kambosos. That health issue, that health issue must have been a real thing. And it's Tarver said that boy quick. He says that boy quick, and he says, let me tell you something. That boy quick, and when T.O. on his A game, I don't know. He said it a couple times. Right? Now he's there watching it. So maybe it's like, you know what I mean? And I just think people really sleep on T.O. because they just don't like him, and that's fine. But he's got very good ring IQ, bro. When the dude want to be defensive, he could be defensive. When he want to be offensive, he could be offensive.
All the greats, bro. They all seen it all. What was Mike Tyson saying, bro?
He's beat somebody that they said that was gonna beat him. They just downplay the opponent. Loma was washed, Taylor was washed, Barboza, he weak, right? But before the fights, Teal gonna be the one to lose. Teal gonna be the one to lose. Teal gonna be the, you know what I mean? And it just keeps happening. And
You know,
it's not like he's edging it out.
You know who else doesn't want that fight?
These guys, bro. He's outboxing. Yeah.
Right. So Teal's got, to me, Teal's got speed, defense, ring IQ, and experience over Boots. All those are the 4 quality Teal brings that's over Boots. Teal was undisputed lineal champion 5 years ago while Boots was still fighting on Showbox. So, I mean, you know, people take that all away. Teal's got these attributes that, hey, styles make fights, and experience means a lot. And Boots don't got that type of experience against elite. Teal does. So, you know, you got the Greg Agnews and all these guys. We're trying to downplay it, and they're gonna murder him. He's gonna murder him, and everybody.
Is that what they're saying? Is that what they're saying?
Oh yeah, you're gonna murder him. What's he gonna get out of it? Like, what's he gonna get? Teal would be the most accomplished name on his resume.
Wait a second. Don't tell me that. No. Don't tell me they're doing the same the Crawford shit again.
What's he gonna get out of it?
That again, bro. I hate that, bro. That is the biggest cop out. So Teal wants to fight this guy. Come on, man. This guy will kill Teal in 2 rounds. Like, almost as if to say there's no point in watching it. You know Boots will kill him. So then that's like their way of saying, no, I don't understand that mentality. My mentality is like, if you're a fan of Boots, right? And you really think that, or you're Bud and you really think that, you should be like, yo, Bud, beat his ass.
Especially with the black community. They're like, we hate Teal because he's a racist. Then here's your moment. You get your king of 147 to beat his ass. Why don't you want that to happen? Don't you want him to get his ass whooped?
They always be like, yo, nah, Barry, you know he'll get destroyed in 2 rounds. He clout chasing. And it's almost like, then I don't get it, bro. Like, let somebody like that was disrespecting me or calling me names, and I think in my head I could beat the dude in 2 rounds. I'm beating the fuck out of him, bro. First moment I get. That's an easy check for me.
So like I said, man, Boots is too quiet. And I'm not trying to go out of my, but I will go out of my way very soon. You better say something, motherfucker. You better get.
Ain't gonna duck Teal, bro. Come on,
bro. If he's not saying nothing,
it's been a week. HLD, damn.
No, it's been since before Stanionis.
Okay, yes, and I even spoke on that. But however, with that situation, it's now been shown that they were working on getting him unified and stuff. No, he's not going to talk about or commit to something else that he's not. And he was already, and hold on.
That's okay.
He was already in hot water for the Virgil Ortiz shit.
And still Eddie Hearn didn't want the Stanionis fight. Eddie Hearn wanted the Teal fight. But he put it out there in the media.
Right. Eddie said, but Boots wanted to unify. I don't.
Right. But okay, but since that time, it's on the table. So what are we, a week? What are we talking about? It's now, man. You already fought. Like, let's go. How come Teal just fought on Friday and he's calling you out? How long ago did Boots fight?
Man, before we get out of here, let me see what Boots is saying.
And Boots ain't saying shit. This is starting to look like a duck to me.
Man, stop it. Boots ain't gonna duck him.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, bro. If he does, that shit will, the media and the other channels, they're gonna make it there. I'm telling you, it won't even make it seem like that. They will flip it. So especially with Teal, they will all form like Voltron and make it seem, they'll come up with something, bro. They'll come up with something and just is almost like the damage control with the the power of the media is powerful, bro. It is because it's like any boxing fan, I'm just going to use Devin for example again. Any boxing fan could sit there and say, damn, bro, the dude ran. Damn, bro, this is bad. I mean, even fighters, Jim Lampley, people that was there watching it, saying it, right? And then the power of social media, you get the meat riding channels and a couple of, some larger channels or whatever. You get them all together and they start at the same time, the same week, they start putting out like, yeah, that, you know, Ryan, Ramirez went to the hospital, Ryan, right? And it's like they start firing on all cylinders, and it's like it's persuasion, and it takes the eye off. It's damage control, and they do the same thing when it comes.
No, that's absolutely a fact. That's absolutely a fact about the damage control.
Yeah,
and they will try to play that game, but I'm going to be on there.
They'll do
it. Right. But you know, the thing is right now, man, you know, for example, I was watching some tape today. Where you're talking about why don't they want it? I'm watching tape today on Boots. I saw him versus Villa. I saw him versus Alvarez. Bro, these guys are Ramirez type guys, bro. These are statues. They're not no Tio. These guys were there to get their ass whooped. You know, Stanionis, another guy. You know, he's a good fighter. But he not for no athletic dude like Boots, you know, and so I see why they're trying to because Tio is an anomaly.
Yeah,
I don't, you know, and so I look at Boots.
It's crazy too because like with the Barboza thing, right? So the Barboza thing was nobody said Barboza was gonna knock out Tio. Everyone was saying he was gonna outbox Tio. Tio was running from him, right? So when Tio beats this man literally 12-0, the first thing they do is now they downplay Barboza and they're like, that fight was boring and this and that. But wait a second, you're forgetting what the narrative was prior to that. The narrative was Tio is gonna struggle with this man like he did Sandor Martin, like he did these other fighters, and Tio completely had this man hesitant to throw punches. Like the dude even had an opportunity in the last round to do something, and he did. He literally blew the man out the water. And now did he do the same thing like he did with Josh Taylor? No. However, Josh Taylor came to fight. Josh Taylor came forward. Josh Taylor was taking multiple chances, which caused him to get countered a lot. And then you look at the same thing, like it's like every time Tio beats one of these guys that he's supposed to lose, he does it very, very one-sidedly, and it's always gets turned around.
He plays with them, bro.
People just say it. If that is people just say, "Yo, Tio." I mean, it is what it is. I mean, what am I gonna? No, now it's like this dude was never that good. He didn't have punching power. Or they'll talk about. I mean, look, the whole card was lackluster. You know what I mean? But he put on a better performance than Rolly and fucking Devin. Like, I mean, the Rolly fight was only that one round where Devin got dropped.
I watched Boots, both fights of Boots versus Karen.
Yeah,
bro, Karen was tagging his ass.
Yeah, he was tagging.
And Karen is no damn Tio. He ain't Tio. I'm looking at, and then I like it that Tio's like the smaller guy. He's gonna make it even harder for Boots.
Hold on though, before because I gotta shut this down soon.
Yeah,
I just want to say this real quick because I wanted to touch on the Crawford thing. They made that official, right? It's official.
Dude, I bought tickets. I bought the tickets.
Oh, it's gonna be in. I was gonna say it's gonna be in America, right?
Yes, in Allegiant Stadium in Vegas.
How much were tickets? A lot. You don't gotta tell me, but was it how much? I mean, they're probably gonna be. But by
the time, but they didn't even announce it, man. This will piss me off. They didn't announce that the tickets were going to be being sold. It just happens to be someone on Twitter, one of my Twitter buddies. Well, he said they're selling. I'm like, what? And I went on there, and by the time I got there, only secondary market tickets were being sold. They sold out.
Okay, well, you know what'll be good, bro? I hope Tio gets on that undercard.
That's the only reason about the tickets. So I got my tickets because I'm thinking that it's going to be Boots and Tio on the undercard as a co-main.
Oh my goodness, bro, that'll be crazy.
So I got middle seats on top, bro. Yeah, let's put it this way.
You know what would be an all-star pay-per-view? It's the Turk, right? It's the Turk, right? Okay, so the money's not an issue, right?
It's TKO with Dana White first one.
Hear me out. We're gonna do it like this. We're gonna go. I'm gonna do something like like a Tio and Boots, right? And then like a David Benavidez and Bivol, I guess like the heavyweights, throw some heavyweights in there and then put that all on the same card as an undercard and then have the main card, Canelo and Crawford. That would be like the legendary card.
That's a legend. If Tio is not fighting Boots, I'm selling my tickets. If Tio's on it, then the thing is, I need to know. Another thing, that's what I'm saying. I need to know, man. We're gonna fight this.
You're personally invested in it. Okay.
Well, yeah, man. I mean, dude, you could go on there. You can see how much the cheapest tickets are. The cheapest ones.
I know.
I got mid tickets and it was
it's Canelo versus Crawford, bro. It's like this shit don't happen every once in so often. But anyway, bro, look, I'll probably go live.
Crawford don't want Tio on that undercard though, man.
Yeah, I hope so too.
No, Crawford don't want Tio on the undercard versus Boots.
But
you know why?
That's not his call though.
But you know why?
Because what happened with his sister?
No. If Tio fights Boots on the undercard,
yeah,
and beats Boots,
yeah,
Tio will have become 3 division champion, 3 lineal champion.
Yeah,
before Boots, before he even has a chance with Canelo. So even if he beats Canelo,
that's what Tio said when he was at the weigh-in. That's what Tio said at the weigh-in. He said 2-time lineal, about to be 3-time lineal before 2025. Did it before Crawford. That's what he said when he was. That's what he said.
Yeah, because if he does that, bro, and on top of that, Tio's already a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he is.
This is not going for ATG status. All-time great.
Yeah.
This is all-time great. 3 division lineal by the age of 28.
Yeah, I keep forgetting Tio already a Hall of Famer, bro. That's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. Hey, Papa, man, I need you guys to shut this down. I need to get some Z's, man. And manito, real talk, man. As always, bro.
As always, bro. I appreciate you, bro. Take care.
Hablamos, manito. Much love.
All right. Hey, I appreciate y'all, man. I gotta shut this down, bro. But y'all have a blessed morning. I gotta stop doing these late streams. I gotta start catching up a little bit earlier, bro. Take care.